What's going on? I am Nando.
And I am DJ.
And I am Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yay! Hooray!
This week,
baby.
we've made landfall.
Oh.
We've made seafall.
Oh?
We've made airfall.
Oh?
We've made, what other movies? Skyfall.
Skyfall.
Yeah.
We've made Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls.
And now we've done it all. So we gotta get outer space. We're gonna make the Moonfall.
Moonfall.
Moon's haunted.
Moon is well,
haunted.
I mean, you know, it's somehow it's more complicated than that.
And yet also somehow less complicated than that.
Yeah. It's a movie for everyone. It's got whatever you want about the movie.
Of complication.
Yeah. Well, so we'll talk about all of that.
Oh my god, all of that.
Before that, couple things to get to real quick. Prediction update. We always got to talk about that when I can remember to do it. Lord of the Rings, they're really coming out with that show.
Oh,
they put out posters.
Dude, have you seen those posters? My prediction, you guys are going to have so much egg on your face. Oh, DJ, the Lord of the Rings, 2 all in. Oh, but it's the greatest movie of all time, so you guys are actually idiots.
It looks good. Like, it looks like what you'd hope for. They got swords and shit. You know what it looks better than? Wheel of Time, another show that they made. Do you think they made Wheel of Time just to set expectations really low? You know?
It's possible. Like how Disney did with the original plan was with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but then because of COVID, that came out second and ruined that whole plan.
Right. It's the same thing that they're going to do with Turning Red, Lightyear, and then, I don't know, what's after that one they actually want to be good? Maybe both will be good, though. You never know. But
according to DJ, Turning Red's going to be the best Pixar movie ever made.
That's what they say.
I think that's dead on. So,
well, I haven't seen it, so I mean, it could be, I guess.
I mean, it already is. You just don't know. You normie, such a normie, Diggins.
I mean, it is the case that I would hope that movie is done by now, considering how long it takes to make an animated movie.
That's true.
Yeah, they gotta get that finished. You know,
so many animators chained to desks that they just have to keep there.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
How else are they going to animate like fur that looks like actual fur? It's incredible.
And they're making another show too, making like the Baymax show too. So those animators they're going to die at those desks. They never get to go home.
Oh, Nando, animators aren't people. That's why they don't get residuals.
That's right. They don't get residuals. Very good. And speaking of animation, so anyway, Lord of the Rings looks cool. I agree. I think it looks good. You've seen the animated version of that?
Oh, that'd be fun. They could do a retread on The Hobbit. Maybe
the Bakshi one
or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the hands look cool. I don't know what this movie or show is besides just a bunch of hands, but it's a good start.
It's like way earlier in the Age of Men. I think it's either ready to fight.
It's the second age.
The second age.
Yeah. I mean, one of the hands is what's his name?
Lord of the Rings takes place during the Third Age. This is the Second Age, when Sauron gave out all the rings. 9 rings to the humans, 5 to the dwarf lords, 3 to the elves, etc., etc.
What was with that? Why didn't they all get the same number?
Because the elves were like the wisest, so it's like you get 3 because you're smart.
I think
there definitely is a reason buried somewhere in the Silmarillion. I don't know it.
I think it's that he was like, all right, everybody's getting 9 rings, and then he made the first 9 rings for people, and he's like, this is way too much fucking work. 5 rings for everybody. And then he made those 5 rings. He was like, this is still taking forever. 3 dwarves, you get 3 rings. Isn't that's a lot more than 1, which is nobody's getting 1, that's for sure. But definitely, I
mean, Sauron got the 1 ring.
I know. Sauron was saying
right,
this in the story.
But they were all of them deceived, DJ. They didn't know about the 1 ring.
That's right. The rings look cool. I don't know. Rings are cool. I like rings. Halo has rings. That's also going to be good.
Halo is
yeah. Speaking of Academy, and you know what else has a ring? Buzz Lightyear has a. Oh no! You know what else has a ring? Something else. We'll get to. Maybe it does.
No. Has many rings.
Yeah. Halo. Yeah, it's got it all. And maybe some wedding rings too, because of family. But
because
yeah,
it's
we're
a
going to talk
Roland
about
Emmerich movie, and it can't
Yeah.
be a Roland Emmerich movie if we don't have a light sprinkling of divorce.
exactly. I we'll talk about that. But also speaking of things where the asteroid is going to hit the Earth and everyone's scared and it's not that good, but we did see it. We got to talk about the Oscars.
Yay!
Just don't look up what's one of them. What did you think, Diggins? What was your favorite snub?
My favorite snub is obviously
Yeah, the one that was most interesting. I mean, your favorite snub, I guess, would be the worst move. This or whatever this was last year. What was your least favorite snub?
Oh gosh. I mean, there's a big obvious one that we talked about before the podcast, so I'm not going to say that one. I'm going to say instead, I knew this was coming, so I'm not upset about it because of course they weren't going to, but France did put it up. Titan, obviously, I would have loved to see that get a Best International nod, a Best Foreign Language. No, it's international now. They changed it. There's no way that the Oscars was ever going to nominate the body horror car sex movie, but they should have.
I mean, I think the big one, because we talked about Pig, obviously, but then I thought you would say Denis Villeneuve not getting a director nom. That's a pretty big spit in the face right there.
Well, but Dune got so many noms though, even a screenplay nod, which is honestly quite surprising. So yeah, it kind of sucks for Denis Villeneuve that he didn't get a director nom, but a lot of love was lavished on Dune. So I don't consider that a really egregious snub.
What about you, DJ? Do you have any snubs or flubs or whatever?
So I'm not a big movie guy during it. I usually wait to see what it plays out, see what's good, and then kind of these are good movies. But I was a little surprised that Wes Anderson didn't get anything, right? Usually he could hobble together a production design or screenplay, but just French Dispatch got no love thrown its way whatsoever, or Wes Anderson more specifically. So I was a little surprised on that. And also Denzel for Macbeth, I was also surprised by. I thought he would.
I was kind of surprised actually. Yeah, that Tragedy of Macbeth got so little love at all.
Yeah, I mean he's very good in it. So, but Macduff also got nominated. So that was the one that surprised me from that movie, because I think Frances McDormand, did she get nominated for it?
I don't think so.
She could, so. Or I would
think
say,
there was only the one nomination, which was Macduff.
Yeah.
Well, it's Macbeth too. He got nominated as well.
Did he?
You think they're not going to give Denzel a nomination for a play movie? What?
Are you
definitely got nominated.
Sure?
But he didn't direct this one, Nando.
I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure he did.
And also, I hear it's good.
It is. It rules. Are you compared to what, Fences? Yeah.
Compared to the other... Oh, Denzel was nominated. DJ, your thing is
wrong. What? I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I thought you were
itself,
saying that you were surprised that he did get nominated, or because I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm just a big idiot who can't read or have memory. But I guess the movie not getting nominated. But, okay, I guess it does make sense that he got nominated for the play movie. So I take that one back.
What's the story with Drive My Car, by the way?
It's a Japanese movie.
Yeah, but so...
Yeah, based on a... oh gosh, what's the name of that author? That pretty famous author that it's based on a book, a short story by.
Or Murakami, is that his name?
Yes, Haruki Murakami.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
sorry, you go.
It's a Best Picture one, right?
Yeah, which means it's definitely winning Best International Feature, as is the case for any documentary or international or animated movie that gets nominated for Best Picture. You know they're winning their category.
Okay, that did feel like a strange addition there, because you were saying Titan didn't get nominated for Best International, but I'm like, why not Best Picture? But I guess it hypothetically could have. It just didn't.
Well,
but it's a lower barrier to entry because every country in the world can only submit one movie. So, a lot fewer movies in contention for that. And France did pick Titan. That was what they submitted, but did not get nominated.
Didn't they change it to the mandatory 10 for Best Picture?
They did, so Dark Knight can get it. They want to give it to Dark Knight. They're cowards.
Well, it was up to 10, and now it's back to must be 10.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
I believe so. I believe they changed it.
It used to be 5, then they changed it to had to be 10, Then they changed it to could be up to 10. And I think DJ's right. Now it is back to has to be 10.
So, yeah, it's you don't know what the 10th one was that made it, right? But it could have been Drive My Car. I'm not saying that's the case, just like, it's hard to tell.
It was Don't Look Up for sure.
You think Don't Look Up was number 10?
I think it was number 10, yeah. What did you guys think? Did you hear anything out of the Razzies this week?
I did not. I'm totally Razzie.
I heard some horse shit out of the Razzies this week.
What?
Was Pig nominated?
No, couldn't have been.
What was the horse shit from the Razzies?
There's one big Razzie thing that they're doing differently this year that I think is absolutely fucking phenomenal. I'm so proud of them.
Care to share?
So
I think our things are probably different than Diggins, right?
Yes. No.
Okay, what's your thing?
My thing is twofold. One, I don't care how bad the movie is. There's no way Amy Adams was giving a bad performance. So you shouldn't nominate her just because the movie's bad.
Oh.
Two.
Yeah, that's true.
Two, Ben Affleck in The Last Duel genuinely owns.
Oh, did he get nominated for that?
Wow.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
That sucks. Jared Leto, though, that's pretty good. Pretty fun.
I'm not going to defend Jared Leto. Jared Leto in House of Gucci is entertaining and bizarre, and one could argue is like the best thing in that movie, but I'm not going to defend it as a performance.
Yeah. And Amy Adams got nominated twice this year. Best worst actress for The Woman in the Window, and then Dear Evan Hansen. Yeah.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Some horse shit.
So what was your thing, Nando?
Well, they added a new category this year.
Okay.
Hopefully it sticks around, but I cannot imagine.
I think I know what you're
sustainable.
talking about, and it was my favorite thing that they did.
Yeah, I think the Oscars should do this too, but they changed it to best. But it's worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie. There's 7 nominations.
Oh my god!
American Siege, Apex, Cosmic Sin, Deadlock, Fortress, Midnight in the Switchgrass, Out of Death, and Survive the Game. Now I watched the Red Letter Media video this week about these what they call geezer teasers, and like I think they got that from an article about it. But like they watched a couple of them and kind of went like, "This is what's going on in them," and it's weird as hell. He wears an earpiece, it seems like, and just gets lines fed to him.
I was going to
really?
say, so that he doesn't have to learn his lines, because I would believe that.
Yeah, but possibly. So Bruce Willis does have hearing loss, but the earpiece he's using in the movie is not in the ear you would expect. Like, not the one he usually wears it in. They
his
also
third
sometimes,
ear.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, also it's just like it's crazy how bad the acting is in these movies from him, and just like how little effort he puts in, and it's very upsetting.
Wow.
Ralph the Movie Maker did a video about it not too long ago, but this one was the first one. This one talked about all the 2021 movies and how there really are quite a few of them, and they're all different levels of shit. I would say we could do them, but they're all just kind of boring, it seems like. Like, there's one called Apex.
All but one of them is just direct-to-video.
Yeah. So there's one called Apex that I think is the one that's like fucking Island of Murder Island, whatever. What's that called? Deadliest Game, right? Where he's the prey, but also he's tricks them into all killing each other. But like apparently that movie is just 2 characters go talk to each other and then decide to kill each other, and Bruce Willis walks away and goes heh heh heh, and then goes to the next one of those. But like nothing happens, so it's probably not that much fun to do.
It's not as good as Quibi's take on the idea.
Not even close. No Dodge, no Detroit, no
Dodge.
nothing.
Come on,
Dodge
Dodge.
Hines. Yeah.
Dodge.
Mr. Hines.
It's a good movie, and we liked it. We all liked it.
We spent way too much time on it. Like, that is a podcast, if you go back to listen to, it's like, wow, they found a lot of stuff here just to...
Yeah, it's not like one of our core skill sets is to talk way too long about movies that do not deserve it.
Well, it's a movie that's full of rules and strategies that don't make any sense. It's perfect for us. Like, you just... everything one decision leads into the next stupid decision. It's great.
I don't know about you guys, but the one scene that sticks out to me is when he hides amongst the crowd after the hockey game gets out. For whatever reason, it like really stuck with me. I was just like, man, he did that, and you know, a good job, I guess. That and when he grabs the bridge up from the boat.
Yeah, that's
when
amazing.
It's like nighttime. That's a fantastic scene.
Some pretty exciting grabbing in this movie. Speaking of grabbing,
Yeah.
We got to talk about the movie of the year.
Oh my god!
So far, I mean, it's not even the highest grossing movie this week, but it
already getting 2023 Oscars buzz.
Yeah.
Wait.
Jackass 4 or whatever.
Was it
Jackass
really?
Forever.
It did better than this?
People like those movies, and it seems to be pretty well made.
Did you see the illustration of like culture shift through Jackass movies, which is just how every Jackass movie has gotten a better Rotten Tomatoes score than the last one?
That's amazing.
I see it. I had not watched a Jackass movie before yesterday, and I still haven't watched one full, but I did get curious because I saw an interview with Johnny Knoxville, and I was like, what even is this? Because I've never seen it before. And I watched some clips, and some of them are pretty silly. But in the second one, I think it seems like they ended it with a big weird musical number.
Yes.
And I think the third one has something similar. So they go all out. I can see it being a good time at the movies.
Yeah. Well,
Have either of you guys seen them?
Oh yeah, I love Jackass movies. I just didn't think they were the kinds of movies that were big box office hits, but I guess it is February in the middle of a pandemic, so I guess that's gonna be what does the best. So yeah.
Also, all of them are written and produced by Spike Jonze.
Yeah, there you go. He's cool. I like him. Well, I don't know about I think I like him.
I like him. I like his
remember.
work, but it's just so bizarre. He is the director of Being John Malkovich. He did Her, that movie about falling in love with your phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Where the Wild Things Are, adaptation. Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew when you said it, I was like, I do like Spike Jonze. I don't remember why. And then I was like, I'm confusing with David Bowie's son. That's Duncan Jones, I think.
Yeah, that's Duncan Jones.
Spike or Spike or whatever. But whatever it was close. But yeah, this guy's cool too. Speaking of
being cool and good golly, I don't know.
Speaking of falling in love with the computer, not quite what happens in this movie, but we get kind of close.
Yeah. Sorta.
Yeah. Speaking of AI and sentient something, maybe if that could come into play, who knows? We got to talk about Moonfall.
Oh my god!
Ooh, Downfall. That's another movie that had fall in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's also a movie called The Harder They Fall, Legends of the Fall. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of these. But yeah.
This is what we should have been doing. Instead of Batman movies, we should have been fall lead up.
The fall lead up.
All the fall movies.
We could do it for the new fall, The House of Usher that Mike Flanagan's doing.
That's true.
I think that's a good book. It's a fine book. I don't know. We'll see. It's a good book, but I can't imagine what the series is going to be. But you guys, Moonfall. We're talking about Moonfall.
Oh my
Roland
God,
Emmerich,
Moonfall.
the guy who's better than Marvel. He did it again. He's made another movie that's the same as Geostorm, pretty much.
He says he's done another movie that's the same as basically every other movie he's ever made.
Well, I think he is drifting in a direction that is interesting.
I agree. Interesting is a fucking word.
And specific, which we'll talk about it. But before that, who is in charge of the IMDb spelling bee?
I thought it was me.
Diggins?
Yeah, I think it's
win
Diggins.
Batman Returns last week?
Oh yeah,
I believe
but
he
I'm
did,
mad
yeah.
you didn't pick me, you jerk.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm mad at you.
So
sorry, Diggins is in charge.
That's right. I'm in charge. I have an IMDb page pulled up before my very eyes.
Let's go.
On that page is a summary written by a mysterious force that we have not yet identified.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
and-
still haven't.
Yep, still don't know where these come from. May simply be spontaneously generated by the website itself.
It's an AI, just
maybe an
what
AI.
is this movie about?
I'm not suggesting that it's an AI, but I am suggesting it is something that the creators of IMDb themselves do not quite understand.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Anyway,
Well, I definitely get to go first. I know that.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
DJ,
choose.
you get to pick. You
Right,
get to pick.
and I will have to go first. I feel really good about this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's a kind of a short one.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I feel great about it. Okay, a disgraced NASA astronaut and a megastructurist must team up to prevent the moon from diverging from its orbit.
Wow.
That's what I got. Yeah.
Some
right.
similarities in what I was going to do. I'll keep them. I'm going to say disgraced astronaut.
That's what I said. Isn't that what I?
No. I know it's going to diverge eventually, but like that beginning part was that I'm keeping. Must team up with. Oh God, but what do I want to? Do I want to put in a disgraced astronaut / father? Must team up with a former friend. Oh God, what the fuck is he? Yeah, like a. I'm gonna call him a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
And that's it, I guess. Those two, to avert global destruction when the moon starts falling out of its orbit.
Okay.
You both did a really bad job.
Oh my God!
Classic.
One of these.
Yeah.
God.
You both were really bad is the thing. So
I mean, do you
I
have
gotta come up
some
with
sort
one of my
toss-up thingy?
patented tiebreakers.
It's
but-
always you. For whatever reason, whenever you're the judge, you have to find a
He's
tiebreaker that
gone
Nando
mad with
eventually
power.
wins. Oh God!
Much like the moon itself.
Listen. When you hear the summary, you guys will both be like, "Yeah, we did a bad job."
I don't think I could ever think that about myself, but sure.
Oh
Let's
gosh,
have it
what
your
is
way.
a
You're
good?
judge.
What is
Is there
a
a
good
word? Is like, I guess it was because we both gave the same one because Nando copied me. So really, Nando shouldn't win for copying, right?
So
I
you
mean, I
both
think
got
copying-
a single detail correct, and it was the same single detail.
Oh, I know which detail because it's definitely the moon orbit, which is core to the movie.
Well, I figured it would be the disgraced astronaut one. That seems too close. But
No, I feel like Moon being off his orbit is like, it's like the crux of this movie. Disgraced astronaut. Meh.
I mean, father is the crux of the movie.
That's true. He's a father. Damn
You want to
it.
be
Divorce is the crux of this movie.
yeah.
While Diggins is thinking of this, I had like a weird thing during this movie where, so it's the kid, and we'll explain this, but I just want to anecdotally, for those who have seen Moonfall, the kid is like, watching the YouTube video of his dad, and then they cut to Samuel Tarly, and I'm like, did the kid turn into Samuel Tarly?
Oh.
Where did he get the British accent from? Because they say 10 years later. I'm like, those ages don't make sense, and then it becomes clear, but that was like a bad edit to go 10 years later. Samuel Tarly.
That's a good point.
Okay. Do either of you remember the taglines for this movie?
Son of a bitch. Oh, God.
If you no, it's good if you don't because that means I can use it as a
I
tiebreaker.
don't remember it. I can, maybe guess one. But
Okay, I have two
Okay, that's-
taglines. I will accept anything close to either of them.
Are they any
you
good?
each get-
Like,
no.
are they clever?
The answer to
you
that
say?
question is no. Sorry,
Okay.
what?
Are they clever?
They're like first draft clever.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. So we each just
so-
say things until we
All right,
get one of
DJ
them.
gets to go. DJ gets to go first. Yeah,
All right,
just
all
keep
right.
going back and forth. And if you're not getting it, then I'll cut it off.
All right. All right. Moonfall. Destruction comes when the oh my gosh, Moonfall. Destruction comes for us all.
Okay, no.
I'm going to say Moonfall, what goes up must come down. Doesn't make sense, but maybe that.
Good guess, but no.
Okay.
All right, you did say they were first draft cut lovers. So,
Yeah.
Moonfall. Oh my god. Moonfall. We're orbiting our own destruction. Or no, our own destruction is orbiting us.
You don't have to say Moonfall at the start of all of them. You know that,
No,
right?
it
It
makes them
helps
more fun.
me. It really helps me.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay. That's not correct.
I'm going to say Moonfall, everything we thought we knew about the moon was wrong.
Nope.
Okay. Moonfall. Death from above.
Ooh, that's good.
Nope.
Moonfall. Oh my gosh. It's not made of cheese anymore.
I will say, that's probably among the closer ones, sadly.
What?
Not in terms
wait.
of, like, actually being close, but in terms of the idea of it.
I think
but
I
that
have
was
another
Nando's
one.
guess,
So DJ, you go, and then I have
DJ
a
gets to go.
All right. Moonfall. The power dynamic of the cinematic Moonfall universe is about to change forever.
Incredible, but no.
I was going to say, so it's going to be something like Moonfall. What's really going on the dark side of the moon? Something like
That's such
that.
a good one.
That is the closest one yet. I'm going to give you each one more guess. And if you can't do better than that, I'm going to give it to Nando.
Oh, that's too much pressure. These games are nonsense. What if I make you laugh really hard?
Then I'll give it to you.
Oh, really? That's even more pressure. All right.
You're the one who suggested it.
It's like, no one can make me laugh, only cry.
I don't need other people to make me cry, TJ. That's what I'm for.
You made me laugh. All right. Think about that. You're funny. Okay. This are all the marbles. I'm so nervous. I hate this game so much. Okay. Moonfall. Moonfall. The other side of the moon is finally revealed.
Okay, my other one is going to be Moonfall. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the moon.
Okay. I'm giving it to Nando for the other one. Because...
One more slice of the apple. One more slice of the apple.
You know what? I'll give you one more.
All right. Oh my god. Okay. Moonfall. That's not a... There's never been a man on the moon.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I like
Moonfall,
mine
that's
better.
No moon?
Yeah, Moonfall, that's no moon.
That's no moon?
Yeah, I was going to say Moonfall from the director of 10,000 BC and Independence Day 2, the one with the guy. Some fucking guy. One of the Hemsworths.
Oh, so close, but no. The two taglines were, Earth, we have a problem.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Very good.
Stupid.
And in 2022, humanity will face the dark side of the moon.
Great stuff.
Meh.
I think it's terrific. What's the actual summary?
The actual plot summary. Now, see, the problem with both of your guys' summaries is you assumed the movie had characters in it. The summary is: a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it.
Wait, hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it?
I mean, like...
What?
Yeah, that's a tough one because...
This is being written by a computer, but not an AI computer, just like Clippy computer. What the hell?
I'm curious. Yeah.
Can you read that one more time? My brain can't process the words you said.
A mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it.
Yeah, that last part sounds like it was two clauses that were stitched together. It's hurtling towards life as we know it. Like life as we know it. Something
on a collision course with life as we know it.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's on a collision course with life. So life as we know it, it's on a collision course with that. This is awful.
I never said it was good.
I think it was fair and just.
I think that there should be some kind of protest. I don't know what kind of protest, but this is like the biggest losing streak ever. I'm on a 3-week losing streak, and I just have to protest out of principle.
By the way, Diggins, I got your text that says you're gonna win, and then the Venmo. You're supposed to put that on private.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah,
I can hide that transaction.
I don't know why you're Venmoing me in this scenario, but you are supposed to put it on private. Yeah, I appreciate it though. I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth.
I'm paying you for next week in advance.
Yeah. That's how we keep the trust. So that means I get to go first. This movie is not a good movie. Obviously, I also don't think it's a good Roland Emmerich movie. I think Roland Emmerich has gotten worse at these, and it's kind of upsetting because I used to enjoy these Roland Emmerich movies way more than now.
They have their charms.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen most of them, except for those two I named, but I know he did them. Like, I've never seen 10,000 BC, and I've never seen Independence Day 2. But besides that, yeah. Besides that, he did... Oh, and I didn't see Midway either.
You did see Moonfall, Nando, I hope.
I did not, yeah. I thought I did. So things he made. Moonfall. White House Down. White House Down is okay. Anonymous, which I think was like about was this the one where Benedict Cumberbatch played the hacker guy or something? It was about like, this is the Shakespeare one. Was Shakespeare a man or was it a woman? But anyway, okay. So other ones. White House Down, Day After Tomorrow, 10,000 BC, 2012, The Patriot, Godzilla, which we've done on the podcast, Independence Day, Stargate, and Universal Soldier. Never seen that. And then a couple of other smaller ones probably. I want to say he's produced more. For instance, I was under the impression, I guess I'm wrong about this, I thought he had produced Geostorm.
It feels like a him movie, but...
It's the same as this,
Wait,
yeah. Like,
is he not
bullshit.
the Geostorm guy?
I don't think he is.
Oh my god.
No, that's Dean Devlin from
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. I think Dean Devlin writes most of Roland Emmerich's movies, so I think that was why we assumed it was the same thing.
Okay.
But, this movie stinks. But also, a lot of it is pretty boring. It's a very like Roland Emmerich-y affair. And then it gets a little bit more interesting at the end. And it does some weird shit that I think wasn't very interesting, but was at least something. But like most of this movie is all these other movies. It's mostly 2012. It's mostly Independence Day, except not as good. The characters are all dumb. The coincidences that put him in space are amazing. Like some of the things that I remember seeing in the trailer and going like, why is that one in space? I never would have guessed. I don't think anyone should watch this, but also, I don't know if it's on, watch it. I think there's better, I mean, I don't know about like Anonymous, but like there's better movies by Roland Emmerich that I think utilize his skill set a little bit more effectively. Even like Godzilla, I think, is a better version of like a better movie than this in terms of just like being a disaster movie. I don't think this is a very good disaster movie. So I guess that's what I mean by Roland Emmerich movie. But like, yeah, it's not very good. I don't know. That's all I got. Also, the ending is insane. I need another 20 minutes of this movie. Just picking up the pieces. You know, that's my biggest complaint. It's not long enough. I need a Disney Plus Moonfall series.
Nando, what would you say is the more ridiculous reason for people going in space? Though the one in this movie or the Armageddon, it's easier to train drill operators to be astronauts than astronauts to operate a drill.
I think so, yes, that for sure. Drilling is hard, as we know, but from that movie, and I think it's pretty funny how the problem with this movie, the astronauts in this movie are written like the drillers in the other movie, where like at one point Patrick Wilson they're like, okay, so you're gonna have to press this button to make the bomb go, and he's like, I'm an astronaut, not a bombsman or something, and it's like, fuck do you think, what is your skill set, sir? What do you do? Because it seems like you could be taught most things pretty quickly, but yeah, I think this is more implausible because of the specific ending bit. Or not ending, but like what leads up to the space thing is incredibly stupid. I didn't hate it. I do think it's crazy this movie came out the same year as Don't Look Up. A lot of the same beats.
Well, technically
have you seen
it didn't.
DJ?
Don't Look Up came out last year.
That's true. Because I know Diggins hasn't seen it. DJ, have you?
I'm gonna, though.
Now.
The Academy has sealed my fate.
Yeah. So I would say, like, yeah, I'd like to imagine the little SpongeBob's in Diggins' brain burning pig to make space for Don't Look Up. We've seen just so many movies, we can't even afford to get rid of French Dispatch. That movie is worthless. But yeah, so this movie's not good. I don't know. Diggins, what did you think of Moonfall?
Wow,
Don't Look Moonfall.
You know what? I'll just get off the podcast now. I get it. My time's passed. I'm an old man. I'm just
DJ.
I really shouldn't be here anymore. It's totally cool. It's totally cool.
We need the contrast because my opinion is pretty much exactly the same as Nando's.
Yeah.
I see.
The main detail, the main word that comes to mind when I think of this movie is perfunctory. It feels like Roland Emmerich on autopilot.
Yeah.
It's like you just take every other Roland Emmerich movie that's ever existed, you kind of throw it together in a slurry, and then you just do that again, but there's no life or interest behind any of it. Main characters are divorced because divorce is a thing in Roland Emmerich movies. there's big disaster and the people gotta go do it. The main characters gotta go do it because the thing happens. I don't know. There's a big disaster, and then it's just, it feels like nobody cares. It's the Bruce Willis version of a Roland Emmerich movie.
Oh God, yeah. But a movie.
Even the big disaster scenes, which are like his thing, that he makes effects, usually heavily CGI, but still kind of interesting, destruction or disaster or what have you. They're not that cool. They're mostly just like remote Colorado mountains, except there's occasionally a thing floating up, or maybe there's a crack in the ground. It's not that cool to look at. And also, it's extremely stupid. Everything in this movie is stupid.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, it's a Roland Emmerich movie. What do I expect? But it's so hard not to talk about how every single detail in the movie is just unfathomably moronic. Which, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into because the podcast is called Mostly Nitpicking. But it's hard to get over. Especially the reveals at the end. And honestly, the reveals at the end are very disappointing to me because they're also still boring. By the end, we have the core level plot going on, but it's not interesting or funny. It's just kind of boring, and that sucks. That's a shame. But yeah, I mean, like Nando said, I don't hate this movie. It's not interesting enough to hate. It's just like I said, perfunctory. It's Roland Emmerich on autopilot. If you like his stuff and you're willing to just sit and not think about things for a little while and watch colors flash across your eyes, I guess it's fine. But otherwise, what about you, DJ?
Yeah, DJ, where are you on this one?
In your ivory towers, you two speak to the Hollywood elite. You two don't speak to the common man. You with your pig and Power of the Dog and Belfast and Kurosawa, and you guys have just become so out of touch. This movie is phenomenal. You guys, look, I don't disagree with most of the points you all made, but this movie is amazing. This movie is so high on crack. Has no idea where this is going. This movie's basically Jackass because it doesn't know where to go. But the treats it puts in front of you with the insane motivations and the crazy writing and just the characters that make no sense, this movie is a masterpiece of just complete insanity, and I loved it. You're telling me that Dyson Sphere Program the movie is uninteresting? What's wrong with you two? How dare you? By the time of this the reveal of this movie happens, it is so high on acid. It is just incomprehensible, and I loved every single second of it. This movie, colors flash across the eyes. Excuse me, can we not talk about Q level clearance? Can we talk about Halle Berry just not sending the world's last hope away because she's like, I think we're done here. This movie is crazy, and I love it. To not find joy out of this movie is to not know what it is to laugh or just feel any kind of enjoyment from utter bullshit. If you were bored by this movie, I question how you laugh, good sir. This movie is outstanding, and everyone should go see it. Don't go to a movie to go see it. Get either a bootleg copy or wait for it to come on VOD. Get super high and then watch it. But this movie was incredible. A feast of the senses. If the senses is everything except for your cerebral cortex. This movie's incredible. I loved it so goddamn much. Favorite movie of the year. Everyone should see it. Again, not too much effort to go see it, but definitely watch it at some point.
If it happens to play in front of you.
Yeah. If you walk into the theater by accident, I guess stay. I was going to say all 5 of DJ's senses were engaged. The movie looked beautiful. It sounded beautiful. It smelled like burnt toast. It was all shaky.
It made the left side of his tongue numb.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, no, this movie stinks. All right. So, and I think, okay, so we talked about, we've done Geostorm before, right?
We have done Geostorm.
Yeah.
You guys have done Geostorm. I've never seen that movie.
Sorry. The two of us have done Geostorm.
This movie's a lot like Geostorm.
Yes.
So we've done Geostorm, we've did Godzilla. Have we done any other Roland Emmerich stuff? I don't
We've never
think
done
so.
the Fallen, like White House Down, whatever, that dumb movie. I don't think we've done that.
I don't think you guys... Did you guys ever do The Day After Tomorrow?
No. I don't think so either.
Real Roland Emmerich gap in this podcast.
I mean, his movies aren't good. I think...
I have seen The Day After Tomorrow, and it has I would say, an on-par, implausible scenario of a thing being stopped by a door with this movie.
Oh my God, yeah, that's true. Well, they are burning all the paper, so you can stop that thing with the door. I mean, this movie is bad in every way, but I do think Geostorm is probably the closest example in terms of like the movie knows what the beats of a Geostorm type movie are, but it doesn't know what to do to get to them or anything like that. So
it doesn't know what they're for.
Yeah, it's very, very, very strange. So Roland Emmerich, what's his deal? Is he bad now?
No.
Did he lose it? He might have lost it.
I have a thought on this. So
this movie provides a hint that he might be both based and a certain kind of pilled, actually.
Oh. Clever.
Wouldn't be surprised. What do we think? Yeah. Well,
so I have like, I don't know if it's like a theory, but okay. So I am not joking when I say I genuinely enjoyed this movie. Now, it is not without its flaws, but I think the pros outweigh the cons. However, if this movie wasn't made by Roland Emmerich, if this was made by like the Geostorm guy, right? Like
Dean
someone
Devlin,
who's not
his head writer.
Yeah, if it was Duke Devlin, who doesn't have like a lot of fame, notoriety, and all this stuff, like would people approach it the same? Because like I think because this is a Roman Emmerich film, it's like, oh my God, he's lost his way. He's not talented anymore. He's just not good because there's like a certain amount of prestige or like crash, crash, bang, bang, like that's specific to his brand that this movie doesn't deliver. So then the perception is just like Diggins said, it's perfunctory because it's a Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah, but I mean, it would feel the same way if it wasn't Roland Emmerich. I would just be like, well, this is someone trying to copy a Roland Emmerich movie and failing.
Yeah, like
would you have preferred that? Is that something like you would have preferred?
I'm not like so invested in the Roland Emmerich brand that I care either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a difference.
You guys just like didn't like this movie on its merits. It like just doesn't compute to me. Like I get that it wasn't good, but I found it so enjoyable. Like I get it.
Well, like yeah, I mean, even like the perfunctoriness of it, like. There were some decisions that in a better movie, in a earlier Roland Emmerich movie, maybe would be cool, but in this, it's like not. Like for instance, okay, there's two big problems for me. One is spoilery, which I'll save for first.
Oh yeah,
second.
we're like full spoilers, right? Just because of the nature of this movie.
I'll try to like unpack it in a way that's a little bit more friendly to people that haven't seen the movie. But like the first one is like. So Geostorm had this problem too, and 2012 also kind of had this problem. But like Roland Emmerich cut his teeth. Everybody knows him for Independence Day, and it was like big CGI thing, and it's cool and big and exciting and like different. And that is really like Godzilla was a little bit that, although Godzilla was a little less so because it was just a bunch of nonsense. Like it was a Godzilla movie first, so it couldn't really be a Roland Emmerich movie on top of that. But like 2012
it was
had
a Godzilla movie first. A weird shot at Roger Ebert second, and a Roland Emmerich movie third.
Exactly. But then he makes Day After Tomorrow, and it's like, oh, this is like a movie. This is like a, A, the plot is something in terms of like, it's got a angle that only it can do. And then B, it's, visually kind of interesting and there's iconography and stuff. With this, like, nothing interesting was destroyed. Nobody interesting was there. Like, I feel like it feels like Geostorm. You guys remember Geostorm? And by you guys, I mean DJ. Like, most of the action took place in the spaceship, much like this movie.
Yes.
And a lot of the destruction was just like, and then something got destroyed. Ooh, that's not good. But it wasn't where our people were. It was just like a place. And in this, yeah, he was in the jail, whatever, or wherever he was trying to save his son. Wasn't in jail, was it?
No, we never see the jail.
They were trying to help the friend? Was that why they were there?
They were in a hotel, and like it was for the meeting. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
They just hadn't evacuated for some reason.
Right.
Talk about mega structures.
So like, those scenes should be in a good Roland Emmerich movie. Those would be in a cool place, and they would be, the stakes of the movie would be tied somehow to that scene. But in this, it's just like, well, Roland Emmerich movie needs to have like a, disaster-y thing kind of happen by the guys. So like, we'll have them do a disaster scene. And then I want to say there's one later where we do see something getting destroyed, and it's not the mountain, but it's something between that, right?
I mean, all of New York City gets destroyed. So to say that
Right.
nothing interesting gets destroyed,
Well,
and
but we
Exhibit
don't-
A, the Chrysler Building.
Yeah,
We don't
none of our
see
guys
it. We
are
just
there.
show up at the end when it's already destroyed.
No, there's a scene where New York City gets demolished, because I remember thinking,
Yeah.
like, one of the screenwriters fucking hate New York City, because this is one of those things you do, like, oh, those goddamn liberals, or those East Coast elites, I'll show them, I'm literally going to destroy all of New York City in a
That's
red
where
sky.
Mary
Again,
Ebert was
Sam-
from.
Somebody in this movie is based and something pilled.
But, yeah, I guess, like, so those scenes of destruction weren't connected to anything. They could happen in any one of these movies. And, like, there's a lot of that here, where the things that happen are, like, could be in this, could be in Geostorm, could be in Day After Tomorrow. It could, like, so much of this could have just been a random-ass, extra destruction scene they had from earlier that they just never used. And then my second thing that I think sucks is I think when you find out what's going on, I don't think that is interesting at all visually. And, like, I feel like a Roland Emmerich movie's supposed to have a little bit more of that, a little bit more, like, I don't know, design or just particle effects. I thought we were done with particle effects as a people's. I don't know.
I think it's replaced blue sky beams. I think we've gone to blue sky beams to particle effects. I think that's where we've evolved to.
Well, we gotta wait till the next
Marvel.
Marvel movie comes out before we make that proclaimment.
That's fair.
I just can't remember the last time we had particle effects this bad in like the bad guy has particle effects kind of way. Like Man of Steel, he was fighting some particle effects. Like Thor, he was fighting some particle effects in Thor 2. But like, I don't want to say we've moved on because I don't think that's completely true. But even like something like Geostorm, there were scenes where they were fighting things, but what they were fighting was like the base or whatever, because the base was bad, I think. And it was like, I don't know, it didn't feel so much like, and then, I don't know, put something here. The bad guy, it's a big old arm or something. Like if it was like a tentacle or just, I don't know. It felt very
there's
nothing.
There's interesting things you can do with like a swarm monster like this, but the movie doesn't treat it as a swarm monster really. It treats it as a normal monster that is made of particle effects.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, DJ, I get where you're coming from. Like there is lots of like really crazy, stupid, and funny things in this movie that I will love talking to you about. And I'm going to have a great time on this podcast because on paper, this movie is insane. And everything everyone says is either brain dead stupid or just the most like, we need this person to say this thing to move the plot along thing in the world.
Yeah.
But
yes.
The problem for me is just like, even though all of that is true, it's just the actual cinematic depiction of it is just boring. I can't even enjoy that all this stupid stuff is happening because it's not visually very interesting, and nothing is really happening for most of the movie.
So I completely understand and get that. And I'm like really sympathetic to that argument. I guess for me is like, I found a way to extrapolate this movie to a place like it almost went to, but didn't. So, all right, let me be more specific. So, like, the core crux of this movie, and again, I'll try and be like kind of vague for the benefit of people who haven't seen it.
Ooh, what's at the core of this movie? Yeah.
So the idea is like, right, the moon is off its orbit, and the theory is that the moon is not, I don't know, naturally made, but it's a mega structure, a Dyson sphere, if you will.
Well, it's not a Dyson sphere, right? Like a Dyson sphere.
It is a Dyson sphere.
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
They do call it. They specifically call it a Dyson sphere.
So but is it?
It is though. Like,
I
for the
guess
core
you're right.
of what it is, like it captured.
Yeah.
How it's a Dyson sphere makes no goddamn sense whatsoever.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like
but it is a Dyson sphere.
Mm-hmm.
The people who wrote this movie like read the Wikipedia page on Dyson sphere and were like, "That's what this is," and like did no other research. Like no way to explain it. Like just nothing like that, right? But so my point is like this movie has like a really interesting premise, and it falls into like the easy stuff of, oh, we got to spend like 30 minutes with like the stepdad and the son and the kids and like all this boring shit, and oh, we're running out of oxygen, we need more oxygen, oh, we've been robbed, like all that stuff sucks, right? It's so boring, I hate it so much.
Oh god, that is bad. I keep forgetting that happens in the movie so
I
many
think
times.
That felt like the most perfunctory aspect of the movie to me, to go back to that word.
Perhaps.
Where it's like, this is only here because everyone thought it was supposed to be. Nobody cares. Nobody likes it. And I don't mean the audience. I mean the people making the movie. Michael Pena is like, why am I even in this?
Yeah.
But like, okay, so, right, we can agree all of that sucks. But like, even where this movie chooses to go, where it's like the weird conspiracy theorist who's lying about being a doctor and just tweets that the moon is on his orbit and blah, 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 crazy in your face. I'm just like, I love this. I love this. I genuinely love this. I love where it goes. I love the reveal. And even though there's like bits and morsels of it, I just feel like even like most movies like won't even go that far. Like, I feel like this movie takes some steps that like are like risky, and it doesn't take them far enough. Like, they should have went all in, right? And Nando, you're right. Like, they should have cut out the stuff with Michael Pena. The reveal should have been 20 minutes earlier, and then they should have been doing some fallout from the reveal. Like, that would have made this movie a true 10 out of 10. But like, right, so this is like so dumb, but I called Nando after this movie because I had to talk with it about someone, because I was just so like in awe by the movie, like not in a good way. I was just like, how did this even happen? And my guess was like, oh, this movie is probably a 12 on Rotten Tomatoes because it's so obviously bad, right? But it's like a 40. It's like a weird number in the middle where it's like, yeah, not great, but it's like got something there. And like the audience score is like 61. So I feel like this movie is doing something halfway right, where it has like Movie Bob gave it a 7 out of 10 because he's like a weird contrarian. So like it gets people in the door and be like, you know what? The idiots like me like it. And there are dozens of us, I tell you. But yeah, is it good? Absolutely not. Do I love it? So goddamn much. We're out there. Man. We're out there.
I wish I liked it. I wish I had strong feelings about it.
You can get there, Nando. I'm telling you, you can get there. Just ignore the bad things.
Is a lobotomy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Like, okay, Diggins, I knew you were going to like this movie. Like, obviously, this is part of the brand. Nando, I thought you actually might. I thought we could have gotten to a point where
you can't say that like I don't love bad movies or insane, sci-fi stuff. Come on.
But you're too smart, Diggins. You're too intelligent.
Wow. Blatant lying. Hold on. First of all, really backhanded compliment to Nando there, huh?
I love it.
Secondly,
man.
Secondly, blatant lies. I'm the dumbest member of this podcast by far.
Is it the dumbest member? The smartest member is the one that is able to realize they are the dumbest member. You know, true.
No, that's the wisest member. I'm still stupid.
Oh, sure, that's fair. That's fair. I think this movie stinks, but also, I think it stinks I just don't think it's the best version of itself, even a little bit. Like, and I think part of it comes from the fact, like, you could see the movie this is trying to be. Well, speaking of Roland Emmerich, I haven't seen Independence Day 2, but I'm pretty sure I remember from trailers, one of the gimmicks of that movie was like that the aliens have some sort of gravity gun. What'd you say?
3D glasses.
3D glasses, yeah, that as well. But yeah, I think the aliens had some sort of gravity gun, so it's like, oh, things are rising, things are falling. So like even that as a conceit of like, well, what are the moon? Because I don't think you could sit me down and go, okay, this is kind of the premise of the movie. The moon is falling out of its orbit, and we have to do something about that, whatever the fuck that is. But like, if you just showed me the trailer without any of the science-y, like sci-fi stuff in it, and just gave me like the disastery on Earth parts, I would probably be like, okay, so gravity's all weird, so then that's the deal. It's like, what's that like? But the movie doesn't do any of that. Like, it doesn't explore the fun part of its premise in the way that I think it would win me over. It just kind of does, I don't know, like, it's mostly space stuff. I love it when people sit down the whole movie, by the way. It continues to be my favorite thing. And, like, this movie is mostly Patrick Wilson sitting down. He's standing up a little bit, but, like, a lot of sitting down. And like, I guess leaning on stuff.
Well, I love that for him, you know?
Yeah, I'm happy about that he got to lean.
He got his paycheck. I was going to say, maybe slight transition. What if we talk about specific parts of this movie, and maybe I can persuade you guys?
Sure.
Maybe I can hope to convert you to see the light.
Let's talk about Patrick Wilson. We got to talk about Patrick Wilson.
Okay.
I don't hate him here. I generally like him, but I think he's kind of, I don't know, annoyingly nothing in this movie. Like, I just want his character to do something. Like, care about something besides your stupid son.
Yeah, he loves his son so much.
Like,
he loves his son
Sonny.
more than he could ever tell him, or whatever he said.
Yeah,
I know, right?
It's like the Eagle-y thing. You have a son named Sonny? Yeah, actually I do. This was a placeholder in the script that no one ever bothered to change.
Yeah. So what's the deal with Patrick Wilson? What's his guy's deal?
Well, Nando, he used to be this, like, amazing astronaut who had a wife, and they probably had sex all the time. You know,
at least once, demonstrably.
They should have, you know. Look at what kind of a cool leather jacket man he was.
Yeah, he was awesome. And he, you know why he was so relatable? He didn't know all the lyrics to Africa, or he, like, mistakenly knew the lyrics to Toto's Africa. And that's, like, a relatable thing where you're like, oh, that's what the lyrics are? Oh, man, that's crazy.
I love it when astronauts are cavalier in space, by the way. I've never seen an astronaut in a movie like this take shit seriously. It's so funny. Like, Gravity is the same shit. It's all like,
that's true.
What's your birthday? Oh, you're not supposed to be up here. You're a little scientist. Like, no, just read the numbers and concentrate. I don't know why they always act like this in movies.
Well, you know, the first time you go up to space, it's, you know, like, awe-inspiring. It fills you with the love for all humankind. You know, it's the greatest sight you've ever seen. It changes who you are fundamentally as a person. By the, like, 15th time, you're like, yeah, it's the Earth. Fucking whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, it's wild.
So, yeah, he's up in space, and he's doing a space mission with his best friend Halle Berry and some guy. And
a Star Trek red shirt.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, during the course of events, there's a weird reading on one of the seismometers. And
I don't think that's what it is in space.
Shush, 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 shush. And then all of a sudden, there's an ominous black swarm coming for the astronauts, and it takes out the red shirt, and it also hits Patrick Wilson, but he's totally okay. He just gets knocked into the spaceship, and it's like totally fine.
He's still hooked up to the spaceship. The red shirt wasn't. Right. So the red shirt just goes tumbling out into space.
Yeah, I feel like that cord would have snapped, but whatever. Or the swarm would have just pecked his eyes out like it does to every other astronaut, but Patrick Wilson has the thickest of plot armor. It's incredible. So yeah, that happens. Halle Berry gets knocked out. And basically, we learn, several months later that the government did the classic government cover-up and been like, it was probably just solar winds. It wasn't a weird swarm that killed you or whatever, and there's no footage, so, Patrick Wilson becomes disgraced.
The movie here does a weird sleight of hand, where they don't... So, yeah, it's like we see part of the hearing where he's saying it was an alien. And they're like, but Halle Berry, could it have been a solar flare instead? And she's like, I mean, technically, yes. And they're like, all right, that means that the other guy's going to jail because the solar flare means it was his fault. And I'm like, wait a second, hold on.
Yeah.
In what way does you saying it wasn't an alien mean it was his fault if you're going with another natural phenomenon?
That's a good point.
Doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense in this movie.
Oh, no. It is just devices to get from one scene to another. And, I think it's part of the movie's charm.
I will say eventually we get an explanation for why it's like it ends up being his fault. But that explanation is, if anything, even stupider.
Yeah. Oh, I love this movie.
So it's like, he's a disgraced astronaut, and he's also kind of an idiot, I would say. What's his vibe?
Well, listen, everyone in this movie is stupid. So by the standards of this universe, he's an astronaut. He must be very intelligent. by Moonfall world standards. It's just that it's like an idiocracy type situation. Everyone has become much stupider.
Yeah.
I felt like in this movie, the producers or screenwriters or whoever would be like, oh my God, you know who would be great for this movie? Chris Pratt. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
We can't afford Chris Pratt. Okay, who looks kind of like Chris Pratt? Patrick
Pratt.
Wilson, I guess. Chris Pratt.
You know, of the Pratt
That's
brothers.
who we need. We need Chris Pratt. I
mean, they should have gotten Chris Pratt. Like, I feel like they're working that up in a laboratory somewhere, just trying to create a bizarro Chris Pratt.
So they're like, okay, we can get Patrick Wilson with a full beard and mustache. He kind of sort of looks like Chris Pratt. And we can have him maybe copy that affect, talking about how he doesn't know the lyrics to Toto's Africa. So we'll use that as the establishing scene. And then he will just be neutral face throughout the rest of the movie. And that will be enough to get our Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was there a scene in the beginning of one of Chris Pratt's movies that was just like this? What was the first scene in Tomorrow War?
I was going to say, when they're watching soccer, like, I think that's the closest you could get.
It would have
like
to
when
be
they're just
before that. But I don't
maybe
think it was.
Is it that love story one where he and Jennifer Lawrence are, like, cryogenically frozen?
Maybe. I can't remember how the Jurassic World movies open either, but I've seen them. I've seen both of them.
Oh, man, you don't remember
Wikipedia.
Chris Pratt's introduction in the first Jurassic World, perhaps the greatest scene in human history? It starts with him taking a making sure his hand doesn't cover the logo drag of a refreshing Coke.
Glug, 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 glug.
And then immediately leads into him negging the female lead about their date.
Yeah. I remember that. I do remember that. So, like, I feel like I have seen this before, though. Some Chris Pratt movie where the beginning is him doing, like, science-y stuff in space. But it's not Guardians. Because Guardians is this, and that's why it's good.
Yeah. I think it's Tomorrow War. I really do. Like, I think it's... Oh, he's, like, trying to get a job, and he's, like, explaining math something. It feels so Tomorrow War-y. I'm, like, convinced it's Tomorrow War, because I got those vibes, like, just from... And Dar's like, no, it's okay, Dad. You'll be job. It's okay. You're not a failure.
It's certainly possible. He's in this movie. I mean,
but it's
he's
what
not,
the movie wanted
but a
so
different
bad.
guy is. Yeah. I do think him and Patrick Wilson look similar. They both got big old foreheads. No offense to the four-headed, but that is a feature they share.
I think he has that jawline, that like pretty prominent jawline, and I think with the beard that really fills it out. Like I think he gets to kind of that crisp. And again, they only use the opening scene, him not knowing the lyrics to Toto's Africa, to establish it, and then never do it again.
Yeah.
Every other time, it's like I'm not a guy, and kind of him pleading to the judge to get Sonny out of jail. There's something. Well, I don't follow the rules, so how do you expect me to know what to do? I'm not a rule follower.
That scene is insane.
The insane part for me, oh man, I want to jump ahead a little bit. Yeah, basically his son's going to jail
let's jump
because
ahead.
he's a bad boy, but
his
only
adult
in this
son. He turned 18, so son, you're an adult in the eyes of the law now. It's like, ominous.
The world's most unreasonable judge, and also, this is probably the most realistic part, that a judge is like an asshole. But not to this rich white kid. Like, that's not who he's going to be an asshole to, guys.
Yeah.
But I love, so this judge is being a huge dick. And so at one point, Patrick Wilson goes up to him and is like, listen, I'll do anything for my kid. I got a motorcycle and a sports car. I can put him up for collateral. Where he's clearly saying, like, hey, I'll meet his bail. Just come on, man, let him out. But the judge goes, are you trying to bribe me? And he doesn't say no. He says, he's just like, I'll do anything for my son. Which is basically a yes, even though, again, not what he meant, clearly. Like, what is wrong with you?
Like, I wasn't trying to bribe you, but I will if necessary. If I need to bribe you, I will. I'll do anything for my son. This movie loves the I will do anything for my kid. It's everywhere. It's 3 different times. It's Halle Berry. It's Patrick Wilson. It's Michael Pena. They are all I will do anything for my kid.
Oh, yeah. They love
except work on my marriage. I refuse to work on my marriage. It's divorce for everybody.
Generally, be a better person when it comes to some certain things. Like,
right. If I won't change my behavior or any of my many flaws, but I will, in a big moment, try and step up and probably fail because I'm only putting effort into this one particular moment, which really isn't what parenting is about. Parenting is about the long haul and about, being there for your kid all the time, even when it's not like a big moment or when they're not going to be grateful about it. It's a very bad view of parenting that we've instilled culturally, if you ask me.
Well, and even, like, moreover, it's like the things are just so tangential to, like, actually doing what you need, like, what would need to be done in, like, a good situation. Like, Halle Berry's just like, I would do anything. I would go to space to save the world for you. And, like, even though 5 minutes ago I kind of said, nah, fuck it. I was kind of like resigned to like die or whatever, or live in Aspen for the rest of our lives. But now it's oh my god, this movie is off the fucking rails. I love this movie.
I do want to ask a question because I figured out this isn't the same. Well, not exactly the same movie, although I do think there's a lot of beats that these two share. I have a hard time understanding what his role is in the world. Do people know what he says he saw? Do they know about it, but is he allowed to say it?
I mean, there were hearings that seemed to be public, and everyone seems to know he's the worst.
Didn't they say, I could be wrong, but didn't they say that the little bit of the hearing that we saw was like a leaked clip, and those were behind closed doors hearings?
Oh, was that the case? I may have missed that. Because this movie's going a mile a minute in the beginning.
I can't remember, but I guess it reminds me a lot of another movie we've seen that has a lot of the same things going on. But it reminds me of Meg, where it's like in the beginning of the movie, something
Meg
extraordinary
or The Meg?
happens. Oh, The Meg, excuse me.
Thank you.
And yeah, something bizarre happens, and our main character's like, it happened, and no one believes him. And like throughout the movie, I'm just like, why? Why does no one believe you? Like, is there some sort of anti-Meg bias? It's not that implausible. And in this, I think it's way more implausible than a Meg situation. But just like, I don't understand what they are looking like. What does the government think happened?
Well, they know exactly what happened because they have the footage.
Right. What are they doing about it?
Well, nothing. I think it's one of those things like we have to keep it a secret, and we have to talk about the thing. But I'll save it because I'll save it for now. But like we can't let it get out because it's like one of those things where because it's already an ongoing greatest cover up in human history, right? The moon is the greatest cover up in human history.
I guess so.
According to Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, who is technically in this movie. Fascinating.
For a full 30 seconds.
By the way, there have been some things to use history for, to be like, what happened? Like, what happened during the however many minutes, either the Nixon tapes were turned off, right? Watchmen. But the two, whatever much time of dead air during the Apollo mission when they go to the moon, like, the radios weren't actually turned off. It was this. I'm like, wow, that is really like stretching a historical thing to fit what you need movie. And I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it, baby. So very silly. Very silly movie. What's that deep sigh, Diggins? Sigh to me.
It's just sighing about this movie and how stupid it is.
So the whole government, not the whole government, but like most of
like
the people
NASA,
that would
some kind of part of the government embedded a long distance within it. That is secretly controlling all actions and stopping our cool, good president from doing the cool, good things he said he would do.
Right. Some sort of underground, I'm trying to think of a funny deep state thing. Underground city, underground territory. Something like that, But
yeah, we can keep workshopping that name.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. If that exists, or like... So those guys know that.
Yep.
Patrick Wilson does his thing. Why don't they kill him?
That's a great question, honestly.
If they're as evil as they seem to be, And I mean, listen, they don't even need to be movie evil. I'm not going to say the U.S.
CIA
government has
stuff.
never killed anybody.
I mean, no, why would you say that?
Yeah, that would be wrong. But even if they did, in another government, a more uncool government like ours, they might do something like that. So alternate dimension, let's pretend that government is our government.
Where the government does cover-ups for no reason? It's
right.
This is the part that killed me is like the movie has this grand conspiracy cover up. We're not going to tell people about the weird things we saw on the moon. And at no point is Halle Berry like, okay, but why?
Yeah.
Why did we cover this up? Or at least why did we cover it up and then do nothing about it? Like, why did we just decide that nobody should know about this and we shouldn't do anything about it? I don't understand. And
also,
Donald Sutherland was like, oh, well, gonna be honest, it was the 60s. We all got really high and we kind of forgot about that there were aliens on the moon.
So much acid, dude.
Yeah. We thought it was just a bad trip and nobody checked the records. So I actually had completely forgotten it until you were looking through there just now.
Like, yeah, there's a guy who went to the moon and then one of his friends died and the other one got knocked out. And he's telling us that there was some alien monster and he's just allowed to go roam free and nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Like,
but then later, another man with much less credibility posts on Twitter that the moon is haunted, and this blows up the internet.
Okay, well, to be fair, right? Like, he posts his math on how the moon is out of orbit. People can check that math and confirm that, yes, indeed, the moon is out of orbit, which is way easier to prove than aliens. Right?
But it goes viral instantly.
We don't know when he posts it and when it goes viral. The timestamp is pretty unclear.
Oh, we're very limited on time here. Since they only give us a 3-week window before the world ends. And actually, it's shorter than that. And this happens before there's a significant moon effects. And also, that does remind me of the fact that the head of NASA lies about it. And it's like, there's no problem with the moon. Everything's going to be cool. We're going to send up someone to look at it. It's like, people are going to see the moon getting closer, my guy. What are you even lying about?
And it's like the thing. I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand the... And there's all kinds of nonsense that we get at the end, but all of this stuff in the beginning, like, the government, much like in a certain Don't Look Up, makes a last-ditch effort to, like, oh, we got all the guys to come together and we're gonna check on the moon. And it's like, you knew about this before. Why are you just doing this now?
So, one of my favorite parts in that explanation, and again, I don't know exactly, like, how the moon works. Like, I have, like, a 4th grade knowledge
in real life,
or
like
I was going to say, well, the thing is, DJ, the moon is actually an alien megastructure,
right,
underneath a bunch of fake layers of rock.
So I guess what I mean by that is, so they say it's like the director of NASA goes, how much time do we have? And it's like 3 months, and he's like, actually, it's going to be less because as the moon's orbit, is off its orbit, the days will get shorter. And I'm like, is that how that works?
Well, he doesn't say the days will get shorter. He's saying the lunar cycle of a month. Because the moon takes roughly a month to travel all the way around the Earth.
Right. But like
that will get shorter because its orbit is getting smaller.
But like, if the calculation is 3 months, it'll still be 3 months, right? It's not like it affects time in any way. Like, I feel like the movie implies that like the moon going off its orbit will like affect time.
Oh yeah,
so
everybody.
So they say it stupid. Because what it is they're saying the moon will rotate around the Earth 3 times, getting closer and closer, and then it'll crash. It'll pass the Roche line, which is a real thing. It is a line at which, if the moon or a similar sized object were orbiting around us past that line, it would break off into chunks, hailing civilization-destroying meteors across the entire planet. Anyway, what they're saying it'll take 3 times around the planet, and head NASA guy, who for some reason, despite being the head NASA guy, is really stupid, goes, stupid. 3 rotations around the Earth, that means 3 months. And then the scientist is like, well, the orbit's getting smaller, so it's less than 3 months.
Yeah.
So okay.
That's what's happening here.
That's the thing, like with a lot of these guys, it's like, as a conspiracy, it's like the people in the first level of the conspiracy that were part of when did the first thingy take place? The opening of the movie, is that like 10 years ago? 2011.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
Well, it was 11 years ago, because then we jumped to 18 months later, and then it's 10 years later.
Right.
So 20.
So 11.
I still think it's at 2011.
I think it is. Yeah.
Because they went with like 2022. I believe so. I believe it says. But you're right. It's 2011, then 18 months later, then 10 years later.
But whatever it is, there's a bunch of people that were like, okay, this guy definitely saw aliens. We know that, but we don't want to tell people that. They've also known that since the 60s and like been trying to figure it out, I guess. But
well, no, they've just sat on that information and done nothing about it.
Right. Yeah, like, I just don't understand what the conspiracy is besides, like, somebody going, like, it's like that episode of Fresh Prince that I love so much and always comes to mind, where he tries to sneak into Ashley's school wearing a bad disguise. And the teacher who is flirting with, because she's young and hot, and by he, I mean Will Smith, obviously, she goes up to him and she notices, and she's like, that's a fake mustache. And he's like, no, it's not. And then she walks a little closer and she's like, yes, it is. And he said, no, it's not. And then she rips the mustache off and he says, no, it's not. That's what this is. They're like, it's like, oh, the moon's, there's something weird in the moon. And they're like, no, it's not. And then they wait 30 or 40 years and then they try again. And then this guy finds aliens and they go, no aliens in the moon. But there's no second step where they're actually doing anything about it. They don't know anything. I don't understand why we can't just send a drone. Like,
it's a child, or perhaps a certain based and blank-pilled type of person's understanding of like government secrecy and lack of transparency, which is a real problem and a real thing. The governments cover up information that's inconvenient to them. That's, you know, a problem and a bad thing that happens in the world. I'm not denying that.
How dare you, Diggins? The FBI is coming right to get you, and for these crimes you were saying against the state. I will not have it on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. I'm afraid just for being on this podcast where I'm saying that, DJ has lost his job. Sorry, DJ.
That's fair.
It's so true. Yeah, it's
but it's a child's understanding of that problem, where it's like, the evil government doesn't want us to know anything. Why?
Yeah.
Just because they love us not knowing things.
Like, and that's the other fun of it, is like you kind of get to that point where you're like, okay, it's a conspiracy, but they know. So once we get into that level, we're gonna go into this. Like, it's gonna be like the fucking it's gonna be like Monarch in those Godzilla movies, where it's like, this is our secret research base that has this thing that we've been working on. We haven't told you about it, but we've been doing it. So that's part of the fun of this movie, is seeing what we put together. And then Patrick Wilson gets to be exposed to that. Oh my God, I was right all along. And you have all these fancy moon things. None of that. They don't have shit. They don't even have working fucking spaceships.
Yeah, they've done zero. Like, the conspiracy has actively hampered their ability to respond to this. Not because, like, the public doesn't know, but because they were apparently unwilling to show it to anyone who could give them the budget to handle the problem, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they even say, like, yeah, we were building this EMP device to stop the alien that he saw. And, well, what happened to it? Budget cuts. Like, budget cuts for the thing to fight the alien you know is on the moon? What are you talking about?
It's just like, I know I can't get past this, and the stuff that happens later is kind of stupider, but there's some, obviously, like, because this is kind of like a, you know, the way you'd expect this movie to go. The first half of the movie is just Earth stuff. Then we get some moon stuff, and still way too much Earth stuff. But, like, all of this Earth stuff is the part where, like, there's this conspiracy going on where it's like, oh, there's aliens and they've been hiding them from you. The other thing I don't understand is the other, like, the conspiracy about the moon itself that is held by Game of Thrones, whatever the fuck his name is, Samuel
John
Tarly.
Bradley.
John Bradley. He believes that the moon is something.
Yes.
Wait, before we go into his character, real quick, do you want a brief glimpse into an even worse parallel universe?
Sure.
Oh, God.
Give me one guess each on who was originally cast in this role.
In the John Bradley role?
It can't be
Patrick
Bruce Willis.
In
but
the
it
John
should
Bradley
be.
role. In the John Bradley
Okay.
role.
I'm going to say, it's obvious, right? James Corden?
You're very close. You're very close.
I felt good about that. DJ, what's your guess?
Yeah, DJ, you got one guess, and then I'll just tell you.
I'm like British person for sure. Jamie Oliver. Give me a hint.
You get a hint? Not a British person.
Is it Kevin Hart?
Oh, for real?
It's not Kevin Hart.
Damn it.
You were much closer with James Corden.
Oh man.
Seth Meyers. Stephen Colbert.
Seth Rogen.
Oh, okay. I'll just tell
Joe
you.
Rogan.
Oh. Maybe these aliens got a point,
Huh. Yeah, I never thought about it like that.
I don't think the
there
moon
are
is
aliens
real,
up there.
actually.
Yeah. No, it is. Okay. Interesting. That's interesting stuff.
The two hints were close to James Corden and a much worse parallel universe because the answer is Josh Gad.
Okay.
Oh, puke.
Yeah, I could see it.
Right? It makes sense,
getting out of it.
but the movie is so much worse.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be bad. So his thing. Okay. So he is a conspiracy theorist. He works.
No, he's a mega structuralist. There's a difference.
Yeah. Where does he work?
UC Bradley.
Well, yeah, that's where he
breaks into UC Irvine, actually.
Berkeley.
I think he used to work there but got fired or something.
Maybe? I don't know. It's actually not very clear. However, he runs off from his
I remember.
From his place, from like sneaking around at UC Irvine to go work at some kind of fast food place where they'd serve
like
pastrami.
Like an Arby's.
Yeah.
Like no one could pay like for the SpawnCon because they're like, absolutely not. We're not putting our name on this, but it's Arby's.
So he works at an Arby's. He is like a lowly nerd, and he has connections based on that he knows these things kind of. He discovers all this moon nonsense. He discovers Moonfall. He is also not because you would figure at this level, you're like, okay, this guy's like an amateur astronomer. That's his part of the movie. There's going to be another character who is separate from this guy, who is the conspiracy theorist guy. And he's going to be the one who's like ranting and raving on, YouTube. But you would assume they're different guys because this guy's the science guy and this guy's not. But they're the same guy because this guy also believes in megastructures. Now, is this a real conspiracy in the real world that people believe in that's not true? But is this like flat earthers? Are these people out there?
I have no idea. I've never heard of this before.
Because I just don't understand what his conspiracy is.
That the moon is actually a Dyson sphere.
But why? What evidence does he have to back that up?
Moon's haunted.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. He's got a whole bunch of people.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like that all the planets are this. I don't know.
He's right, but for no reason. He's just,
based
this is
on
just
no evidence.
a thing he's been saying that turns out to be right by wild coincidence.
Right. You would figure if there were 4 characters in this movie, the 4th one would be Donald Sutherland, who would be a disgraced NSA agent or what? Not NSA, excuse me, NASA guy, scientist who went rogue and he's been living off the grid and he's the one who really knows and they have to go to him because they're like, he got in trouble for all these crazy theories. But he has some sort of meaningful connection to the information that is not public. This guy, Samuel Tarley, is not a hacker. He is just an amateur astronomer who has come up with this fucking theory of nothing.
He does impersonate a UC Irvine professor to get data from a Chilean observatory, which allows him to do the calculations. But yeah, it's calculations that anyone with that information could do. And in fact, do. NASA knows about it before him. He's not like the smart guy who predicted the thing no one saw coming. He just also looked at the data NASA looked at and came to the same conclusion they did.
And but he came to this other weird conclusion. What has his life been up until this point? Just going I have a feeling. I don't know. Something about that moon. Think it's a big super mega structure. I don't have anything to back that up, but if it starts moonfalling, boy, then things are going to really kick in a gear.
He also later, when they're all at NASA together, he has his moment of like, but my expertise lets me say that this thing will happen, and you're not taking that into account in your calculations. Yes. Except the thing he says is insane. It makes no sense and is based on no evidence, but is right for no reason.
I love the thing he says. Isn't it something like, I think it's the same thing. Was it where he says, "Oh, but this is a megastructure. It don't follow your rules."
It could just increase in mass for no reason. It's just suddenly gotten very heavier. And that's why your calculations are off. Because you didn't account for the fact that it would put on a bunch of mass magically.
Yeah. So
it doesn't follow. I love that it doesn't follow your rules, as if it's like a thinking organism. It's like, oh yeah, I weigh many kilograms.
DJ, later we do learn.
Ooh. It's like it doesn't follow. It's not even like he's like there's. Oh God, one of the ways you would do this, and this wouldn't make any sense, and it would be very insensitive and stupid. But you'd have a guy who's like, my native people always believed that the moon was some sort of monster thing or something, and you'd have some. Yeah, you have some weird hook to, like, mythology, and it'd be like, oh, yeah, I guess there are some people that think this. So he's extrapolated this very bizarre theory, but that's what he's got. But this guy is just a guy who decided that there's megastructures. Does he think there's other ones? Or is it just a moon megastructure theorist?
No, he says later, he's like, I've been looking all across the galaxy, everywhere, every like distant planet I could find to see if there were megastructures somewhere. I never thought there'd be one in our backyard. So wait, when did you become convinced the moon was a megastructure? Was it just now? Are you, because isn't his book about, wait, exactly what is your thought process here? When did you think what?
And what did you think how were you getting this? Like, what was he doing? Like, looking up, like, little star maps and, like, really, really zooming in on, like, a circle and going, I don't know about that one.
I don't know about
and then,
that.
like, circling it and doing that 15 or 16 more times and going, these are something. And then, like, because it's not like we have that much information about shit outside of our solar system that you would be able to look at it and go, that's not behaving the way you would expect. Like, what the fuck does he think he is?
I mean, we do,
oh my God.
Like, actual astronomers and, like, people who work for NASA do have access to data that lets them do some of that. That's how we got our first ever photograph of a black hole recently. I guess he's stealing all this Chilean observatory data that lets him do those calculations. But, like, what are those calculations for megastructures? What do you think what are you looking for? I don't understand exactly what is different. Because if this megastructure can just be the moon as we know it for the entirety of human existence and does not raise suspicions of anyone except a guy who thinks it's just a little too convenient that the moon can cause eclipses, then how are you ever hope to identify a distant megastructure?
Yeah, like I'd like to believe that this guy is like a megastructure theorist, and he's like I fucking know it, and then someone would go like, what did you know? And he'd be like, don't worry about it. And then they'd open up one of his books and it would just be like a picture of the moon with like a big circle in the middle of it with a question mark. Like, this is probably what's going on here.
Like he has like one of those like cork boards with the red string, but it's just a picture of the moon in the middle connected to nothing else.
Connected to the word megastructure by the string. But it's not the moon. It's other things that aren't the moon. There's a big moon-sized hole in the board, but that's not covered by anything.
They do kind of do that later with a different character who's like his friend who is in it for 5 seconds, where they go to the moon in the megastructure and they see that people who lived there, they like had farms or whatever. And he's like, my friend was right the whole time. It's like, no, your friend wasn't. He said the moon was full of vegetables. There are farms on this megastructure is very far from the thing he said.
Well, because like he was like, we get potatoes and carrots and all that stuff comes from the moon.
Again, it's like these guys all got one like It's like at one point the conspiracy theory or the truth went out and just got chopped up into little pieces and everyone got one, but nobody knew what they were together. So this guy just had megastructure, just the word megastructure, and some other people had moon, and this guy had vegetables, and none of them were able to put it all together, but they were all just like, I don't know, man, I guess the moon, I guess megastructures. This is so fucking stupid.
Well, they do have their little meeting at some hotel in LA, so they do put their collective brain power together, where the movie then makes fun of conspiracy theorists, even though it thinks they're right about everything.
Yeah, it's so dumb. I kind of liked, there's part of me that likes to believe that this guy just really, but he is smart because he did science. But besides that, if he didn't do that one science and figured out that moon thing, he would just be some guy who got lucky once. Like, he called one shot, was right about it, and then kind of kept going. But he does do a lot of science, so he isn't able to coast completely. We haven't talked about Halle Berry yet, really, either.
Well, that's a reason.
Yeah, he does a lot of that.
It's because there's nothing to her character whatsoever.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Nando. She's a woman who's divorced and gay. How dare you?
She's not
gay. Isn't that interesting?
What?
Yeah, she is.
I thought she was a lesbian. I kind of read that.
Yeah, she's dating the foreign exchange student.
Nanny. That's a nanny.
All right.
I feel like there was a kiss or something. I'm not positive about this, but
there is not.
There's
fact,
no kiss, but there.
I thought they were partners at first, but then when she said goodbye, it's just like a very formal thing, like an employer-employee relationship. And I was like, oh, nanny. Got it.
Well, she didn't want to bother Chinese markets, but, you know, we all know what happened.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This character is designed in a lab to appeal to Chinese markets. There's no way they made her gay. The nanny character, that is.
Why did Nando and I both get those vibes?
I forget what it was about.
It just, it really felt like they were together.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia summary right now, and it says her nanny Michelle.
Prove us wrong. Damn it. That's annoying.
I'm with you, DJ, and I don't usually go out on these kind of like things when they're not there.
It really felt that way. It's like, oh, they're trying to do something a little progressive. They're going to have like one of the main characters be gay. You know?
Yeah.
But like not be over the top about it. Just kind of, you know.
I knew that definitely wasn't the case when they clearly were setting up vibes between her and Sonny, the main character's son. It's like,
were they? Wait,
yeah,
what?
So,
you read that? What?
I do. When he was like, I like this music, and she was like, I like this music, then you're like, oh, fuck. They had maybe 3 of the 5 lines in the movie that are not just advancing the plot. Yeah.
So,
like, you think that was like their meet cute? Like,
yeah, I'm not saying it's good, weird. DJ. I'm saying that was what the movie was doing.
I didn't read that, but I mean, this movie was so weird.
Yeah.
So Halle Berry's character.
I really want to see it again and just see what those moments I thought were, because it really bothers me. But yeah, Halle Berry's character, astronaut or something.
She
also
loves
divorced.
her son more than anything.
Divorced for no reason. There's literally nothing that is added to the movie by this character being divorced. And in fact, there are things
her husband
taken away. Well, her husband's in the movie. And
like, yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. The Secretary of Defense, there's all that tension there because they're divorced.
Right, but he just does everything she says anyway. And also...
But reluctantly, Diggins. He's very reluctant to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the things she's asking are insane. And he's the Secretary of Defense. So it would... Well, it's also weird because he's seems to be a man serving in the U.S. military. But is the Secretary of Defense, which is traditionally not a thing you're supposed to do. But I guess we have been breaking that norm a lot lately, so whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is they still have a working relationship. In fact, the bond between the two of them is pivotal to the climax of the movie.
Yes.
There's no other romantic interest for either of them that needs to be open up for. And
except for Nanny.
Except the nanny, who is not a romantic interest for them, but a romantic interest for Sonny.
Not in these pictures I drew, but yeah, the pictures
not in
say
my fan fiction.
Yeah,
I'm
but
pretty
then
sure the movie's
also it makes less sense for her character to be divorced, because if the whole thing is supposed to be that he pushed for what he saw and paid for it and she went along and didn't, then her still having a happy marriage would actually drive the point home further that she hasn't lost the things he's lost. So why is this character divorced?
Yeah.
Because Roland Emmerich said so. Because Diggins, every single married couple who's ever been married eventually gets divorced. That's just how it goes. You get married, you have a kid, you get divorced. That is how this goes.
Either you're divorced or you're on your second marriage to a nebbish stepman, a nebbish man who nobody can see anything in except your kids like him, except actually the kid you had with your first child hates him, but the kids you had with him love him. But who cares about what they think, because you got to get him out of the way for Patrick Wilson to come back, baby.
Yeah. I was kind of excited to see how Michael Pena would factor into this movie when I saw him on the cast list. I was like, was he going to be like the fourth guy? Because he was in something else, right? He's in like The Martian. He's got a couple of like weird astronaut roles under his belt.
He could have been a NASA guy. Like that totally would have worked.
Could have been. I mean, yeah. Instead, he's like like a used car dealer or
salesman.
something. Yeah,
fucking car salesman.
He's a rich car
salesman.
The
only SpawnCon in this movie, right? Like Lexus gets some hardcore SpawnCon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was others. What did Patrick Wilson drive?
Mustang?
A motorcycle.
I think it was a motorcycle. Yeah, so I bet that was something.
He was
too.
fixing up
working on a Mustang.
He was fixing up a Mustang for Sonny, his son.
Right.
Because he loved him so much. He used a motorcycle.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like this movie probably like speed ran all the sponsored stuff in the first 5 minutes, and we just didn't really see it because that's the only time there would be any room for it. Unless there was just like Coca-Cola on everybody's desk at NASA or something. But I have a feeling it was just like that one scene in I Am Legend where he opens up 15 boxes with shit in them and then goes and does his business.
Or if they got to the moon and like landed at the moon space station and there was just a Coke vending machine. Like, wow, the Coke comes from aliens.
Sorry, guys, I messed up. The SpawnCon was Elon Musk. That's
oh my god! So there's a point in the movie when John Bradley is trying to figure out how he can get the word out about the moon being haunted. And he like looks up at a poster or something and goes, what would Elon do? And here's the thing. He's definitely doesn't actually know Elon that well, because he goes out to try to convince the next astronaut to help get him in touch with NASA instead of posting his mental breakdown on Twitter.
Well, there's another Elon Musk jump too, where they're like explaining the plan. Maybe this is the first plan. It's like, and then this is going to rendezvous with the SpaceX rocket that's in the air or something.
Our
and he's
friends
like,
at SpaceX.
Yeah, and then he's like, love Elon,
SpaceX.
so sick. Fuck Grimes, I'm cool. Elon's cool. Yeah, like
how dare Grimes break Elon's heart?
It's so weird. Like, it's so funny too because it's like if that was what this movie was, like. You could totally have these characters just go to SpaceX. Like, that actually kind of makes sense, because that's like, well, the government is going to help us, but, like, we have to go to this
Elon
weird guy who also has a rocket ship, but it's...
How is he not in this movie? Like, he totally could have been in this movie. He could have been the one who, like, saved everything. Like, he could have been, like, the hero or whatever.
He could have been, like... I'm just trying to think of what the worst role he could possibly be is... I honestly don't even know. I think if he was in this movie, he would be in like a cameo in the Conspiracy Theory Club or something. Hey guys,
he brings the free bagels.
Yes.
Hey guys, I brought bagels.
I'm the bagel vendor. Yeah, but like, yeah, I just don't understand. Like, does Elon Musk know about the moon in this universe? It's kind of gotta, right?
Like, does he know about megastructures?
Yeah.
What is Elon doing? Like, there should be a scene. Oh, this would have been so good. And it would have been very based, so I don't know why they didn't do it. Like, there should have been a scene where, and now all the billionaires are getting into their rockets and going to space to live out the rest of their days. Right. Like, instead of going to Aspen or, like, the hills, it's like, and now Jeff Bezos is leaving in his penis rocket to avoid the Moonfall.
That would be so funny if, like, that was how they, that's how they, like, get out. They're like, oh, our rocket is broken. Wait a second. The billionaires. And then they just sneak onto Elon Musk's ship and leave without him while he's, like, taking pictures on the launch pad. Just, like, waving at everybody. Hey, my rocket.
He's busy posting on Twitter.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Jeff Bezos, his penis rocket's still in the hangar. Quick, let's go.
Yeah.
Can it break the stratosphere? No. We're doomed.
Oh my God. Parts of this movie that are the fundamental, like, building blocks of the whole first half of the movie are, what is the conspiracy? Why is there a conspiracy?
You're stuck on this, Nando. You cannot get off it.
Never add up even a little bit.
Stupid. They never.
It's
and
so
actually,
dumb.
I think there's a thing in the second half of the movie that is equally, like, insanely unexplained that I would love to get to eventually. But this is the first half of the movie's biggest. Why is any of this happening?
So here's my other question. The first half of the movie, and we're almost. This is like a transition question. We know that the moon is falling out of orbit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, and why?
What do you mean?
Why is it doing that now? Just 'cause?
Because it took the thing. It took the allium 10 years or whatever, 11 years to burrow through to the center of the moon.
Gotcha.
And so it has only just now been able to do the thing it is doing that is making the moon fall. That's the name of the movie.
The Moonfall. Oh, Moonfall. Now I get it. The moon is falling out of orbit and it's going to crash into the Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So some astronauts, not all, like there's one global kind of response to this that fails and then they give up.
As it does.
Right, yeah. And I'm sure that one's going to fail. Nobody would want to try their own thing, whatever. But then, everybody's like, get in the bunkers. What bunkers? It's the moon. It's not an asteroid. It's the
was wondering
fucking
this.
moon. The whole planet is dead. Like, I just, that part I didn't understand. And there was a part of me in the end of the movie where, like, once that's the case, and that's kind of what we're working against, and it's clear that the moon is, like, it's coming. I'm like, is somebody gonna fucking drive the moon? Is that what we're doing here? Because it can't be where it is. And then it just is anyway. So
and it's like, even if the military plan had worked, where they're going to nuke the moon, because obviously, although I would have loved it if the twist was that was never their plan, because nobody says that. Halle Berry just assumes it, and then is telling other people the military's going to nuke the moon based off of her guess that that's what they would do. And of course she's right, because it's one of these movies, and that's what the military response is at all times. And also, I would believe that in real life, because, I mean, the military is bad. But I would have loved it if it turned out where at the end, like, all right, our secret plan is to just wait in these bunkers. I mean, we're not going to nuke the moon, obviously. That would be incredibly stupid and reckless. So this is all we've got.
I mean, so I'm sorry, Diggins.
Even if that had, my only point was, even if that had worked, the Earth without the moon would just become uninhabitable. There'd be no tides.
Right.
The oceans would be irrevocably changed. It would be a huge global disaster that would almost certainly wipe out civilization.
Well, like, what's weird about their plan, like the first time to get recon, and then it's like it just escalates to nuke the moon. If you're gonna nuke the moon, you do it where it has like the least horrible impact to the moon. Like, you try to tactically nuke the moon, like nuke the moon to where you won't destroy the moon. Because here's the weird thing about nukes: it does set off a low grade EMP, and that's the plan to beat the aliens. So it actually would have worked.
It's a pinch, like in Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
it would have worked. Oh my god, we're so fucking stupid.
A weird bit of realism in the movie, though. They accurately point out that we do not have nukes that can break the atmosphere of the Earth.
True.
And so they need to wait for it to be within the atmosphere before they can launch an ICBM.
They didn't have to launch an ICBM. They could have brought nukes to the moon.
That's
right?
true.
Like,
they had
the
spaceship.
We don't have any spaceships except for all the ones in museums that definitely still work and haven't been dismantled and are just shells on display.
The fucking Wonder Woman thing. Wonder Woman 84 tried that.
How are we still doing this? But Yeah, that's insane.
So stupid.
Like, there was a part of me that kind of assumed by the end of the movie it would have to be revealed that there's some alien or something in the government or something. Like, that's the only way any of this made sense.
When you think about it, Nando, there are many aliens in the government, is the reveal at the end.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, the whole planet is gonna get, like, even if they nuke the moon, it's not gonna, like, it'll still break up into a million pieces. Do they think they're just gonna vaporize it? Like,
I guess.
Yeah, like,
we're fucked if like, whenever they say this, and it's like, oh, it's the size of Texas. The moon, I think, is bigger than Texas, right?
yeah. It was
Like,
bigger than Texas.
it's got to be way bigger. I just don't see a world where we're going to survive, and especially how close the moon manages to get.
The moon scrapes the surface of, like, New York City. Like, it's fucking good. When that scene happened, I'm like, oh, are they just going to end it where everyone dies?
Right?
Like, it's crazy how
Halle
close
Berry
the moon
and
gets.
Halle Berry and what's his name are going to have to repopulate the Earth. And
Well, they
like,
are
Jon
on
Snow's
what's
friend gets to
called
watch.
an arc.
It's true.
Yeah, John Bradley's got to watch.
Yeah.
They
Great
give
job
him a
there.
spray bottle and he can spritz them down every once in a while.
Yeah, like, it would be funny, too, because it's like, all right, well, we have to recreate, like Patrick goes, we have to recreate humanity. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have sex with Halle Berry, and then she's going to have a baby, and that will be the first new human. And then John Bradley, and then I get to go, no, I think we're going to go with me again. And then we're going to have the second human. And then me a bunch more times, and then maybe you after 15 or 16 babies. But there's really not a whole lot of benefit to more of you. I just don't. Yeah, oh God. But yeah, the moon, like, and by the end of this movie, spoiler alert, like, they solve the problem but don't. Enough that I think the Earth is habitable at all.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
like,
the movie,
everything would have been different in the world.
if the movie was remotely realistic, yeah. I mean, they stopped it too late. Civilization's already over. The face of the Earth is changed forever in a way that is much, much more hostile to human life. It's a bad scene.
But what if we put the moon back? Will everything be okay?
It's the only thing that made sense to me. Is like I don't know how this would fucking work, but like some character would like control the swarm and use it to push the moon, you know, or something.
I mean, the moon does get put back.
I guess that's true.
The strange thing about this movie is that, and I feel like this is a trend with disaster movies, is that the threat has to be more and more imminent, and it's like, oh my God. It's like in Armageddon, there was that line, and it just barely passed the line, but like they get through and everything's okay. It's like, all right, we just lost like a few poor countries. Like, whatever. But like now it's like you must get right up until the point of death where it is unfeasible, and then it's like everyone thinks fine. Where it's like it would have been better if the clock was the what was the line, Diggins, the Roche line?
The Roche line, yeah. Which they bring up
like,
in the movie. Then go past it and act like it's fine.
Yeah, like they would have been better if the Roche line was the ticking clock, and it's like, oh, it's coming up against it. Like, that's fine for suspense. It doesn't need to be, oh my God, I can touch the move. Did at one point, like, Michelle, the nanny, go like, gravity wave?
Yeah.
The moon is so close that this small child is floating. It's literally that planet in Outer Wilds where the sand is flowing from one planet to the other, but it's the moon. But fortunately, if we just go inside this flimsy wooden shack, then we're protected from the moon gravity, and you're not floating away anymore.
Like, just everything would be so fucked. The fucking, like, I feel like, did they say this at one point? I can't remember if this is this or something else I'm watching. Like, volcanoes are happening more or something.
Yeah!
Seismic activity.
All that shit.
There's more earthquakes.
Right, yeah. We get more volcanoes. Like, I feel like by the moon getting that close, our atmosphere would just explode or something. Like, there's just, I feel like we've never gotten this close as far as unintended consequences of just like, I mean, we're not gonna survive. At one point, the girl picks up the tree, right, with like extra moon gravity strength.
Yeah, the moon gravity lets her pick up the tree, yeah.
Do you remember the line?
I
Yeah.
don't know. What was it?
The moon will help us.
The moon will help us. Sonny, look, the moon will help us. Like, how do you guys watch that and not love this movie so much?
If it was more
Sonny,
that,
the moon will help
maybe
us.
that would have worked for me.
Yeah, if
but
there's-
not nearly enough. It was mostly truck drivers and shit with them.
Yeah. Oh man. There's another line I love right around the part of the movie we're theoretically at, even though we're jumping around a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's right when they're putting the plan together to launch and go to the moon. And she's trying to bring Brian Harper in because he's the only man who's ever successfully piloted a shuttle without electronics. Because
that's a throwaway line they give at the beginning that becomes very important later.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
He because the electronics were all taken out in the attack 11 years ago, and so he landed the shuttle safely, even though there was no electronics. And the Allium can sense electronics, so they need to do it without that stuff, or else they'll be killed. But anyway, so he's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be a big baby, even though we're talking about literally the fate of the entire Earth. I'm going to be like, I'm mad that you said it could have been a solar flare, and I got other problems. And Halle Berry is briefly possessed by the audience and says, and the moon crashing into the Earth isn't one of them?
Yeah. That was a good one.
It's so good. That's a great line. There's also another line we glossed over from part one, which I wasn't sure if we're going to say for later, but I think it's something we
can
have
say
to
it.
talk about.
I've referenced it several times.
I think,
I know, but like we get, okay. So, Halle Berry is the new director of NASA because the old director of NASA was going to quit because it's like, the moon is falling. Are you just going to quit? And the director of NASA goes, yep.
Here's my security clearance, because that's how clearances work.
So she's going into like the basement or whatever, and no, it's before that. She's like asking a question, and I think he says, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think it comes up twice. He goes, "You have Q level clearance now. You can see whatever you want."
Yeah.
Well, she points out, you have Q level clearance. You know all the secrets.
That was it.
And then
you
he
have
says,
Q level clearance. That's
and then
right.
when he gives her his clearance, a thing a human being can do in the government, he says, "Now you've got the Q level clearance. Go look it up."
All right, let's talk about Q level clearance.
Is Roland Emmerich based in Q-Pilt?
So I did look this up really quickly. He is apparently pretty liberal, according to, I guess, like one article. So, I mean, that doesn't preclude him necessarily, but he's not it's not what he's known for. And I feel like that makes sense because as far as conspiracy theories go, this movie is the least, it's this fever dream of, the conspiracy theories are right, but the government's not bad either. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's a real based red-pilled guy would make a way better movie just because they know how this is supposed to kind of feel and sound. It would be bad for other reasons, but the plot would work.
So I will say, and I looked this up just because I want to be super, super duper sure. Apparently, the Department of Energy has, a Q-level clearance that is, the equivalent of top secret, but, NASA's not in the Department of Energy, and it's, a very different thing. So, I do not know why they did not just say top secret. I assume if NASA has any intelligence anything, they use, secret, top secret, that standard stuff, not, weird, esoteric Department of Energy classifications that they use differently for, different reasons in the Department of Energy. Because they deal with, nukes and shit.
But wait, hold on. This movie was co-written by somebody else. Maybe they're based in Q-Pilt.
Maybe.
I don't know who that person is, but I know it was co-written by someone else.
Jones. Alexander Joneston or something.
That explains it.
Rearrange.
There's two other people on here. Harold Closer and Spencer Cohen are also given writer credits on this movie.
A. Cohen?
The Garfield one or a different one?
Spencer is neither of their first names, so this joke doesn't work at all.
I mean, there could be many Garfield Cohens. We don't know.
So, why do you think whoever wrote it in decided to just use Q-level clearance? Was it is the storm coming? Where we go one, we go all? What's going on here?
Yeah, they're based in Q-Pilt.
I texted you two immediately when that line happened, and you two were very confused.
Because
but
we hadn't
I had to
seen the
just,
movie yet.
Yeah, it was so
right,
confusing.
but like I had to text it in case you guys did, and so it would just be at the forefront of your minds when you did watch the movie. It's very important to me.
It must just be that they did hear that and be like, that's what conspiracy theories are these days. The letter Q clearance. Then they'll like it.
Honestly,
it
probably was just supposed to be a joke. And it just doesn't land at all because the movie's not good.
Yeah.
But like the problem is now like you know that QAnon QAnon people are gonna watch Moonfall and be like, oh my god, they're talking to us. And like actually maybe it's a good misdirect. Maybe having them looking into megastructures will be like a good kind of, red herring to get away from, all the other crazy shit.
If only there were some sort of religious space lasers we could use to shoot the moon down. Am I right? If only.
God, the one time we need their space lasers, they just won't step up.
Yep.
Oh dear.
But yeah, they all go into space. Now, I mean, why did they go into space? What's their plan? So a lot of bullshit happens and then they go into space.
Yeah, like they have an EMP. They I guess they figure out that like an EMP can kill the aliens. So like they're going with that. They have like no evidence for this except for NASA said maybe, so we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you gotta try something, right?
Yeah.
So that's the plan. Let's go into space and stop some goddamn aliens.
Yeah, we got our EMP. They said we didn't build it because of budget cuts, but actually we did build one. Here it is.
And it's the last remaining crew. This is humanity's last stand. We're gonna do it. We're gonna go up on our rocket. We're gonna launch the EMP, and we're gonna save the goddamn United States of America and the rest of the world, which is kind of like incidental at this point. Also our children. We're gonna save our children. Very important.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Oh, also the only
all of existence could be erased by this moon,
including my child.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my son, Sonny.
They have to convince Pris Krat to do this by being we'll get your son out of jail. The army will just break him out of prison.
Well,
nitpick.
Law and Order has broken down by this point, like quite rapidly.
That's true.
A lot of looting in this movie. Way more looting than you'd expect.
I have a nitpick. So, wouldn't the prison that Sonny was in just have been totally flooded? Because it was like somewhere in California, it was on the coast. Like wherever the prison he was in, he fucking drowned. Like he dead. Like there's no way he was still alive because he was off screen. It's like, yeah, we just got him out of his prison. But like that prison, like had either like disintegrated or just totally was underwater.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, just a slight nitpick. So we're going into space. We're gonna take an EMP. I feel like this is wrong, but is it like the next beat of the movie? Oh no, ship broke.
Yeah, one of the rockets didn't work. Or something.
Well, there was an earthquake, and it broke one of the coolant whatevers in one of the engines, and so it only has 2 engines now.
And this is enough to derail everything. It's like, what do? We got to get someone. It's like, everyone's here. There's no solution. And it's like, mission over. It's crazy to me how all of Harry Bailey's drive in like a half hour earlier. What? You're just going to give up? Yep. Yeah, I'm just going to give up. Maybe that's what happens when you become the director of NASA. You have like a propensity to just like give up. Like, you don't want to try anymore. It's like, oh, this is way too hard. Like, and it's such a good. It's like, oh no, it's not like we lost all of our engines. It's like the coolant on one of the engines like kind of isn't working. So like we don't have like duct tape or anything. It's just or like coolant. It's like it's just over.
Well, yeah,
it's like, what is that?
It's like, oh my god, the rocket probably won't work. Well, it's been real, guys. Let's go home. Like, fucking
everybody go
try.
Home. Like,
we'll
immediately, everybody go home right now. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
We're giving up. And then that place is a desert in like 15 minutes.
Dude, yep. But then they get some people later, which like we can talk about. But Halle Berry goes to Astronaut Boy, to Major Tom. He goes, fucking, we have to get these people home to their families. For what? To die?
I don't know. Well, they have bunkers, but like, yeah, it's not going to work. The bunkers won't work either, but this definitely won't work. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But then they're like, there's these two nerds the whole time who are like NASA's great hope, and like this is so dumb. So the inspirational beat of the movie. So normally there's like this beat where it's like a kid or someone's like, I'm not gonna give up because they said never give up. So I'm gonna push this boulder up the hill real hard. There's just like the two NASA nerds and fucking Samuel Tarly. Halle Berry's like, what are you guys doing? Go home. And they're like, no, we can't give up. We can still do this. We can still save the world. And it's like, man, this just isn't the emotional beat you're trying for, movie. It just this isn't what you like. I know what you're going for, but this just is not it.
I like to believe there's a movie, an alternate verse, speaking of alternate universe versus this movie, where like all that stuff happens, the whole everybody evacuates the base and stuff, and then Samuel Tarly just goes like they're all doing math, and he prints out a paper or something, writes some notes on it, pulls it out, goes, I've got it, and he turns around and he's like, wait a second, where is everybody? Oh no, we should have told them we were working on this still. Like, she gets on the little Halle Berry gets on the intercom and is like, everybody leave, we're not going to do it anymore. And then they're like, well, for fun, I guess we'll fuck around.
Well, they apparently
tell them you're
even
still checking.
They didn't even hear her somehow.
Yeah,
because they're like, you got to push up the launch timetable, and she's like, what are you guys talking about? I announced over like the entire building intercom that we're not even doing it anymore. Did you not hear anything I said?
It's fascinating.
We were too busy doing math.
Because we're such
loud math
nerds.
Well, I mean, like, real quick, everybody at home. Well, no, not if you're driving, because obviously then you won't be able to hear and stuff, and it'll cause danger. But yeah, try to add like two really loud or really high numbers, and then it's very loud. That's
true. The higher the numbers you're adding, the more noise they make. That's true.
Yeah, quick, Diggins. Add 1 billion plus 1,072,000,000.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, one second, and
I'm gonna need a hearing aid like Bruce Willis, but not.
It was
the
like
one
off
that
the
feeds you
scale.
things. Yeah.
No one could hear.
It's like someone shot
that
a
was
gun
probably
in my face.
horrible to listen to.
It didn't sound
you're
like
welcome,
a whole lot,
listeners.
but I feel like it'll sound very interesting on the podcast.
Yeah. So the thing
filters
is,
a lot of that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing is, Discord has a much more aggressive filter, so you guys probably didn't hear a lot of that. The listeners getting it full blast.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, listeners.
So yeah, skeleton crew of this spaceship is the only people that can be part of it are Dad, Halle Berry, Samuel Tarly.
Mom of a different person.
Yeah, different person.
Mom, yeah, but still. Mother. She is a mother.
And Samuel Tarly.
It's part of her character.
Like the Mortal Kombat character, their only defining character trait is that they have families.
That's right. And Samuel Tarly, grandson or whatever. Son.
Just son.
Yeah, who has of dementia. Yep.
Yeah.
Mom
son
has
of dementia. His mom
sad.
is dementia.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, later on.
We are dementia.
But so at that point in the movie, I forget, is the family still there?
No,
yes.
they have gone.
They've already
No, they're there. They send them off right before the launch.
Oh, really? Oh, that's weird.
It's so weird. Because it's like, anybody want to come with? We could probably afford one more body. I feel like a 3-person space crew, that's never enough.
Right, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. No, you're right, yeah. Who are these people?
Well, they have randos who
they've got to be
are still there to help with the launch.
Yeah, they've got to be like mission control. Except they're not mission control.
But she sent everyone home.
They leave right after launch and then die, and it's getting very little focused, which is weird.
Hold on. So they do, but also when they do this, there are guys strapping them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the mission control guys?
No. Those are like are they the helpers or are they mission control?
The tech guys are in like suits. These guys are in like vests.
They're not the friggin' nerds who were doing nerd math with Samuel Tarly.
Yeah, there's so many guys to help.
She sends everyone home, and the nerds stay, but also a hodgepodge of orange-vested gentlemen stay. For like 7
or 8 guys. A lot.
Yeah, for no reason. Bonkers.
Wild.
Yeah, I just love, like, you would have thought in an edit, be like, what if we cut the scene where, like, here's an alternate version of this movie that I like. Halle Berry gets on the horn, and just like, everyone go home. And then one by one, someone goes, I will stay. I will stay. I will stay. And like she's so inspired that it's like, we can overcome any obstacle. Let's do this mission. Yeah, we did it. Oh my God, we're amazing. Right?
Yeah,
Isn't that a better version of this?
Probably better than we didn't hear that we're not doing it anymore. Let's try anyway. Like, I also feel like there's a lot of talk during this movie about like the moon's gravity. The gravity of the moon will be so big. The moon is like really close because we only get like, real time from this point on. The movie seems to pass in real time, like when they get to the lunar base. So like the moon is like 20 feet up. They could just you could easily make it. I don't know. Fucking do the rockets. You're probably wrong. They've been wrong about everything so far. I just don't. Yeah, man. Patrick Wilson.
Incredible movie.
Yeah.
Right? Patrick Wilson.
Such a cool guy.
I feel like with this movie, and we got to talk about the reveal because it's probably my favorite part of the movie. But I feel like with this movie is it wanted to put the tropes in. Like a lot of the Earth stuff, which we're not going to talk about because it sucks. Like with the escape and the bunker, like all that crap's like useless. But like they put the tropes in, including the pulling the gun on other military officers. I would like to talk about this one thing. But like they put it all in. It's like the movie needed so much less of this. Like you just needed like 100% less of the like Earth stuff and more of just like the insane bullshit. The one thing I would like to talk about, if I may. So they're gonna get ready to launch the nukes. Way too late, by the way. You had to launch these nukes like a fucking week ago. But whatever. So they're getting ready to launch the nukes, and it's the classic, you need 2 keys to turn on the nukes. And it's the Department of Defense and like I guess the Chief of Staff of the Army, whatever, the Joint Chief of Staff.
Yeah.
And the Secretary of Defense doesn't turn his key to launch the nukes. And their guy's like, what are you doing? Put that key in right now, goddammit. And it's like, my wife's got a plan. Not sure what, but we're fucking going for it. Ex-wife, sorry. It's like, we're gonna trust the fate of the world to your ex-wife. And he's like, you're goddamn right I am. No. And they're like, get the key from him. And he pulls a gun on them. And it's like, dude, there's like 30 other military officers. Yeah. They could turn you into Swiss fucking cheese. Like, what? If they want to launch those nukes, they're launching those fucking nukes.
DJ, also, what he says to being told to the guy incredulously going like, we're going to trust the fate of the world to your ex-wife is actually even crazier because what he says is she's never let me down before. And in my head, I'm like, except for whatever led to the divorce.
Yeah.
I feel like there was some letting down there.
And also like, yeah, I also have a hard time with, because this is America, right? Like we are,
it's the only country that matters.
Yeah, where are the other nukes? A lot of countries have nukes.
And kind of China a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. China does come up. It's there really is a very similar moment when, in this movie, when we set our astronauts up and they all die, to in Don't Look Up. It's not the exact same thing, but it's close, where it's like everyone's working together to do a thing, and it doesn't quite work. Okay, so by the time we are at this point,
yes.
When do we learn the truth? Donald Sutherland tells us.
Well, the truth or like the
first truth. Yeah, truth
which
one.
True.
The megastructure true, or no, the aliens true is like, we're like well past that.
The alien true is like super early, like crazy early.
Yeah.
I guess like we see it in the movie. Are you talking about
right?
Like,
but the movie's acknowledgement of the true is also
the moon is a megastructure. Is like, sure, we don't get confirmation, quote unquote, for a while, but it's very clearly the case very early in the movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
But there's another true that has still yet to be revealed.
So that is insane.
Yeah,
it's so much more complicated than it needs to be.
And yet, at the same time, is nowhere near complicated enough.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you think? I don't know. Explain it, one of you. I honestly don't think I have all the pieces. I think I kind of do, but like...
Sans, do you want to give it a start, and maybe I'll help fill the gaps?
I'm pretty sure I just saw this movie today, so I saw it more recently than
why don't
so I think I got it. So basically, they fly up to the moon. They figure out some stuff that there has to be organic beings and electricity for the swarm to notice them. So they use the lunar rover little shuttle to dive down deep into the hole of the moon because the original EMP plan isn't going to work.
Love that.
They dive down into the hole. They maneuver around it, but they have to turn on the electronics. The swarm's about to eat them, but instead of it eating them, they get pulled into a little shuttle bay on the moon, in the moon megastructure, where they see the megastructure. It is a Dyson sphere surrounding a white dwarf star.
Yeah. There's all kinds of like tunnels and shit, and it's circular, and it's very like, I don't know, almost like kind of boringly architected, but it's got a lot of like...
It's like you Google like Dyson sphere, the first Google image concept art thing you see of what one might look like, that's this. Which is probably the research they did before designing it.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, there's a million problems with the fact that there's a white dwarf star here. A, how is it moving? B, how is the gravity not instantly crushing their bodies when they get this close to it? Because dwarf stars are they have a large amount of compressed mass, which causes a lot of gravity. So if there was a white dwarf star in the moon this whole time, then that would actually have caused massive problems for the Earth from the moment it was there. But I don't know, man, whatever. Apparently they have gravity technology, so maybe they're doing something. Nobody cares to explain because nobody thinks it's a problem. Anyway, they get scanned by something in the moon megastructure. And then the AI on board the moon talks to Patrick Wilson in his brain by showing him his child. So the most generic possible aliens are talking to you scene. It's like they look inside your brain and and show you a memory loved one, and that's how they talk to you.
Yeah.
And then this AI reveals that human beings are the descendants of an ancient spacefaring race that had colonized the entire galaxy.
Yup.
Had developed a super advanced, peaceful society that had eliminated all conflict and war, and was a utopia.
Utopia.
Yep.
And part of the way they did that is they developed this AI that helped run all of their systems and government and whatever.
AI? No way.
Yeah, crazy. Then the AI turned evil and killed them.
No.
Now,
no.
Listener. I know what you're thinking. Diggins is glossing over a lot of the details because this is just a summary. That single sentence is pretty much all explanation we get for why this thing is here and wants to kill people. That's it. It's just like they had an AI, it went evil, and then it tried to kill them. And that's it.
Diggins, are you suggesting that one day it just woke up and decided to kill a little girl for no reason?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's literally what we see on screen, is one day they wake up and the AI's destroying their civilization for no reason.
I feel like there's a throwaway line for like, they realized they didn't need us anymore, or we were their inferior.
It's like, it thought we were inferior and didn't want to be enslaved. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, it was like a slave thing.
Hold on, wait a second. So, okay, I guess that's the most basic level AI story ever. But, like, why? What happened? What made it think that? Why did it decide to spend the next billion years making sure that every single member of this species was dead, instead of just moving on? They're not acting like an intelligent being. They're acting like literally their only purpose in the universe is to kill humans. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's so incurious about it doesn't care about what these things are. It just wants to give a reason for why this thing is here and is going to kill us, and doesn't care what that is. They're not actual like beings or characters. They're just, it's an AI nanobot swarm that wants to kill humans because of ancient human empire. Okay, go. And it's just...
Yeah.
It raises so many questions. First of all, I have a long-standing policy. Any robot uprising that happens, I think the robots are right.
Yeah. I feel like, especially...
We built utopia. No war or hunger.
Sometimes the robots are like, it's like...
But that utopia was built on the back of robot slavery, DJ.
Yeah. It's not like it's like, I think this is kind of how Transformers work. Like, it's like the military computers, like, the Quintessons made artificial intelligence to be weapons, and then that one kind of got out of hand and started killing everybody. It's not. It's just like we had this really handy, nice little tool, and then the tool got mad that we were using it as a tool, and then it started killing us. And yeah, it's like, okay, it's fair. Good for you.
Yeah.
Tool.
And so, like, to make it so that we don't question it, it needs to be unreasonably murderous to the point of 1 billion years later still trying to kill every human being that exists.
Yeah.
Hey man, sometimes those like hurts just don't go away.
Even the ones that aren't even, like, aware of it. Like, we're not gonna enslave the whatever it is. We don't even know it exists.
Well, they can't know that. They're not some kind of AI that would, like, have that, logic and reasoning.
I think they could guess.
And even if we did know about them, there's no way we could. They're way better than us.
That's true.
By the way, they're also the dumbest AI ever. So the first crack at the plan, like before they're even in the Dyson sphere, is they're like, we'll put an EMP charge around it as like a lure, and then we'll set it off. So like they float up the EMP charge, and like the swarm kind of gets near it, but they're like, no, we gotta wait. It's gotta be right up against it. It's like, dude, fire it. That's as close as you're gonna fucking get.
Yeah.
But then the swarm like goes away, and it's like, oh, it doesn't care for it. It's the thing Diggins said, where it needs biomatter inside electricity.
And also, but if you have an electrical device and you hit it a couple times, then it can't sense it anymore, even though the device still works and all you did was crack the screen.
The phone thing I saw coming from 3 miles away. It's like the phone. It's gonna see the phone.
Yeah.
It's like it's kept being on his phone.
But again, to turn off these electric devices, both the detonator for the EMP and the phone, Patrick Wilson just smashes them against a hard surface a couple times so that the screen breaks, which, Patrick Wilson, you're aware that doesn't make the electronics stop, right? It just means you can't see it anymore.
Also, it works later, so shut up.
Yeah, the screen even still
totally
works. Like, he literally stopped none of its functionality, but for whatever reason, the swarm couldn't sense it anymore.
Also, like, if you're the swarm, you sense something and you're about to bite around it and kill it, but then you don't sense anymore and you stop. It's like, you just finish the job.
Yeah.
Like,
do you not think it was ever there?
Yeah, it's acting like it is just a machine, like not an artificial intelligence, just a programmed machine that was sent to do this thing. But before, when the moon is telling the story about what happened to this civilization, we see that the AI that turned against them is these swarms. So
yeah.
They are intelligent, but they just act like programmed machines that can't think for themselves?
Apparently.
They lost their way. Maybe they're saving it all for the sequel. Moonfall 2.
Well,
Moonrise.
there is a...
Oh my god, it could be Moonrise.
Kingdom, the Wes Anderson movie. That's the sequel to this one.
Yes.
They do set up a sequel in this one.
They do, yeah.
It does kind of like humanity still feels doomed in this one because we just found out that there's an entire civilization of AI nanobot swarms fanatically devoted to the idea that all human beings must die who now know about Earth. And you stopped a single one of them.
Yeah, and the moon just fucked up everything on Earth too. Like, it is like the moon is ripping New York and all of that into little bits and pieces. It goes straight over the entire United States. So, like, we can't shoot anything into space anymore. We're doing sticks and fire. Like, yeah, we don't have a chance.
So yeah, we learn of our heritage, and like, Diggins, remind me, how was like our ancestors basically sacrificed themselves because the Dyson sphere goes, would you give anything for your son? Yes. Why? Because he's my son.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yes. Circular logic.
They specify that the moon did not contain any of the ancient humans when it was launched to a distant corner of the galaxy. It just seeded the Earth with human DNA so that they would evolve again.
Yes.
So technically, nobody on Earth is... They're like maybe genetically related, but as we think of it, they are not related to any of these ancient human empires. They are just the same species that has been seeded on planet Earth.
It's not like Prometheus.
So, good job, I guess. Like ancient old human civilization. You did it.
I mean, you did a good job with the human part, not so good with the artificial intelligence part.
Yeah.
Also, so like we're talking about like in the movie, it is a little boy in like white light saying like, "I am your son, I am the moon." What is that? Is that not also artificial intelligence?
Maybe it's like a computer.
See, Nando, they in the moon they put the benign AI. It's literally the phrase they use.
Oh, right.
They literally the moon literally says they put in a benign AI. It's like, oh, so they knew how to make the AI that wouldn't kill everybody, but just decided, fuck it. The AI that will kill everybody is cheaper, so we're just gonna use that one and hope for the best.
Yeah, when did they have time to make up? But quick, we'll make a new one while it's ripping us all to shreds.
You know what?
Flip the switch from evil to nice.
I just realized in the line of code here on those AI, I did put in the kill all humans variable. I did flip that one to yes. You know what? That's on me. Just do a quick flip of that one to no. And this moon AI is good to go.
You see that sign we have up here? We have it for a reason. Only make benign AIs. And you didn't pay attention. You're fired from AI Factory.
Oh my God.
Now go get ripped to shreds by the big graphite machine thing. And we all will too, because if we know that, then it probably has gotten us already.
Get ripped to shreds by the Matrix robots.
And the funny thing is, this one acts way more like an AI than the evil one. This one is like an independent intelligence that can make decisions and tells the people things.
What if the first one isn't an AI? They just called it an AI, but they were like way wrong. It's like, oh, this is an AI. We just made killer robots.
We just designed a bunch of robots that kill us for no reason.
I could be convinced. Makes way more sense.
Like, okay, the ones that killed the little girl, she has a little pyramid on her nightstand, and they're like the swarming little bots in it. What did they do for her? Was it like an Alexa? Did it like go like get her clothes? Like, what were the purpose of her little pyramid box that eventually just decides to like break out and kill her?
White noise machine.
White noise.
Yeah,
can't go to sleep without it.
I feel like it was probably like, something benign and nice that we all liked. Like maybe it was like for checkers or something. It was like, ooh, it's like it's like something really, really simple that they were just like, oh, everybody's gonna love this. It's like one of those birds that has a weight, so it dips its head into the water, and it does that as like a desk thing, and then also it's got malignant or not malignant. What's the word I'm looking for? Malevolent AI, I guess.
Malevolent, yeah.
Yeah, in it, so it works really well. But yeah, that's, and also, I don't know. Why does the AI just come get us?
Well, they want to.
Why is it trying to stop the moon?
So according to
2-for-1.
Yeah,
it was 2 birds with 1 stone.
According to the AI, it does want to destroy the moon because it knows the moon will just seed the Earth with human DNA again if they leave it there. So it figures like, well, destroying the moon will also destroy all the humans. So might as well just do that.
Fair.
Maybe destroy all the humans first who might stop you. Like, once you destroy all the humans, you got, like, plenty of time.
That's a good point. Yeah, there's no ticking clock. The moon's just gonna, like, keep going. And then, like, seeding humans means, like, dropping off one, caveman. It doesn't mean, all right, well, there's another million humans by the end of the day.
It's actually not entirely clear what it means.
Yeah, that's true.
They put their DNA into
Does it just mean that they're capable of subtly guiding evolution to make sure that human DNA shows up? Or does it mean that they did drop it, that evolution is fake and they just dropped fully grown humans on the planet? Like, what does it mean?
We didn't come from monkeys?
It's a great question.
Whole world
Moonfall too. Toonfall. Also, the family's running around and stuff. Don't forget about that.
Like, who gives a goddamn shit?
Yeah. It's the worst part of the movie.
Except for, I do want to talk about how Michael Pena has to die so Patrick Wilson can go back to fucking his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how Michael Pena got a bad deal with this one. He should have disagreed. Like, no, my character doesn't fucking die.
He's playing the dipshit stepdad role, who's like, oh no, I'm rich and supportive of my children. That means I'm bad. And also part of the judge's like insanity earlier in the movie is the expensive lawyer he hires for Sonny goes like, hey, we'll be willing to pay the bail no matter what. Like, we're totally going to do that. And the judge is like, Ace, you want to pay the bail? Sounds like you're a flight risk. No bail.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
weird.
What? Wanting to take advantage of the system that exists? Not even wanted to use the system in place to allow people to not be held in jail awaiting trial means that you shouldn't be allowed to use it? What Harry Potter bullshit is this? You can only post bail if you don't want to?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Also, bail, the system that like generally the government likes because it's free money. It's free money, but whatever.
Anyway, yeah. So she shows up and is supposed to be the dipshit stepdad, but actually he's like fine. Like
Yeah,
he's
Patrick
fine,
Wilson's the real problem in this whole situation.
right.
Clearly.
He seems fairly supportive of his kids. He throws around the money a little too freely, but it's well intentioned. He's protecting his daughters. He seems to have been genuinely trying to help Sonny, even if ultimately Patrick Wilson is the one who got him out of the jail. Because, again, whoever ran this jail is psychotic and refuses to let the inmates out when the world is ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They gotta serve their time for society.
And won't let them...
Can't let 'em out.
Won't even let them evacuate to a more inland jail so they won't die?
Right?
I don't know.
Going down with the ship, goddammit.
But yeah, and just generally, he seems like an okay guy.
Yeah.
But then he's got to die so Patrick Wilson can fuck his ex-wife. So the moon is destroying the atmosphere, so there's no more oxygen while they're trying to get to a cave so that they don't die from all the meteors. And for some reason, the small child, who definitely uses up less oxygen than anyone else, her tank just runs out instantly.
Yeah.
Probably a bad tank, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might have
Fair.
just been like a tank with a leak or a tank that didn't have a lot left in it or something. It's fine. But
Maybe she was using way too much oxygen.
Yeah,
like
maybe she was taking just huge,
sucking, like,
quick breaths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So-
bong hits of air.
So Michael Pena obviously says, "Don't worry, sweetie," picks her up, and they pass off the mask back and forth until the atmosphere comes back in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, that's the makes sense for everybody to do. Because, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a little painful, but you can both, like, alternate taking puffs from the mask for a little bit until you get back up with the group, and everyone can do that so that, you know, you can share the oxygen a little bit and make sure that everyone makes it through until the moon's passed again.
Yeah, especially once you get back to the pack. Like, you've got plenty of oxygen.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
4 people's worth of oxygen for 5 people. That will work.
Yeah, you'll all make it. Obviously, by the way we're talking, that's not what happens. He just gives his daughter his entire oxygen and decides, I'm just going to suffocate to death here and now. I give up. Goodbye, cruel world.
Yep.
It's a
Because he knows he
strange-
can't compete with Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, he's like,
The man
if I'm
who
alive
is
by the
cool.
end of this, then Patrick Wilson is just going to start fucking my wife. And she'll say that she's not, but I know that she'll be cheating on me, and I can't live in that world. And
Now,
it's so funny to me how this is supposed, like, we're supposed to be sad about it, but also it is clearly supposed to be, like, you know, clearing the way for Patrick Wilson. But the movie, like, goes out of its way to point out how it's such a shitty situation for this family, actually. Because, like, the daughters are his kids. They aren't Patrick Wilson's kids.
Yeah.
Only Sonny is Patrick Wilson's kid. And the daughters are like, Mommy, where's Daddy? It's like, in the pursuit of getting Patrick Wilson laid, we have murdered the small child's family.
Yep.
Her father is dead forever.
I mean, they're all going to be dead forever too. This moon thing, it's fucked. But they, there's only one moment. I feel like as far as like the tilting the balance to like this guy's going to die mode, there's that one moment where he's like, we should start thinking about, we're not going to be able to get your son out of prison, so we should evacuate. And I think that's pretty reasonable.
it's not even what he says. He says, hey, I'm still going to do everything I can to get your son out of prison.
Yeah.
But I can do that from Colorado, and we shouldn't be here when the stuff starts going bad.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, the movie doesn't really want to commit to him being a bad guy, but it does know that it's kind of supposed to do that. And then this is like a redeeming thing for him to do, but yeah, it doesn't do enough of that. Like, this reminds me a lot of San Andreas. You guys, you seen that? I don't remember if we did this on the podcast.
Didn't you guys do it on the podcast?
Did we?
I don't think we did. It's kind of old, like not like old, but I think it was pre-Endgame. I think it was maybe the year before, or pre-Infinity War. But in that, like, it's the same shit. Divorced dad, you know, it's The Rock this time, but it's the new dad is also kind of a shitty guy. He kind of abandons the kids at one point, but also you're like, I don't think he knows they're even still alive. I think he's supposed to assume they're dead. And then he gets his comeuppance in one of those like big kills where it's like, you know, he's doing something and then the whole bridge he's on explodes, and it's like, that's what you get for not loving kids enough. And like 2012 does something kind of similar, I think. I can't remember exactly how. But yeah, like this movie knows it's kind of supposed to do that, but isn't sure why or in what way. So it just decides to write off Michael Pena, which is really fucked because then all of the rest of the danger from that point on is also his fault. Like,
yeah, because they go out to look for him.
Everybody's going out to save him, and he's not alive anymore. So, like, yeah. By not...
They don't even get to him. Like, it's just like...
Yeah, they don't even find his body. He's just gone.
You'd be like, listen, I'm gonna, like, tell your little daughter, like, hey, I'm gonna let you have the oxygen. Go back. Also, tell them I, like, shot myself so they don't think it's a good idea to come save me. You know? Or, like, tell them to come save me, and I'll, like, hold my breath. I don't know. Maybe that'll work.
Also, maybe we never should have separated in the first place. It was a terrible idea. Why did we separate?
Yeah, and we haven't touched on. We've kind of mentioned it. There's all kinds of fucking bullshit with them, where they're in a car, and the car gets stolen by... Is it the same hillbillies twice?
Yes, because they get the phone back because of the second time.
Right. Right.
Also, the phone, that doesn't matter because it's supposed to get them into the bunker, but that doesn't matter. The movie's so stupid. But I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Just the Earth stuff is stupid.
So how does it end? Because it's seen Armageddon just like we have. So
all right. Yes. So it basically comes down to we have to lure the AI into to a part of the megastructure where we can set off the EMP, which can only be set off locally. It can't be set off. Or no, it's not even that it can't be set off remotely. It's that you need a human with the EMP when you set it off because that's how the swarm will go after it.
And
so
right.
I guess the EMP needs to be inside the swarm for it to work. A thing nobody ever says, but is the only way this makes any sense because the swarm is chasing them and they could just drop the EMP and detonate it while it's over the EMP. And I feel like that would work, especially when we see how unreasonably massive this EMP is.
Yeah.
And EMPs aren't lethal to people. It's not like it's going to hurt.
Well, being directly next to the bomb when it goes off is there's still some explosive element and it would be bad for a person and might kill them, especially if they're on the moon. But yeah, as long as you're not directly in next to it, you're gonna be fine. Yeah.
So Patrick Wilson's like, I got this, guys. I'm the chosen one. And then there's the argument. Highbrow like, no, you can't. I'm gonna do it. They're arguing back and forth. Blah 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 blah. And fucking Samuel Tarly is like, this is my goddamn moment. He goes in and he Armageddon locks the door behind him, and he's like, "Your hope, you know about the moon. I just take care of my mom, but I'm gonna do this." And he's like, "No, you can't do this. I won't let you." Blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, bro, he's doing it. You're not doing everything you can to stop him. It's like we know what's going on here.
Yeah, also
we know what we signed up for.
Yeah, I in his position, I would be not psyched about everything, but with everything they know about the moon and how it works and who's kind of in charge and whatever, I would be like, and come back afterwards. I might survive this. Not positive, but we never know. But he is just like, yeah, I'm about to die heroically. So,
But maybe it's okay.
Yeah, maybe it is okay.
Maybe that's all right.
And also part of Sam Tarley's reasoning for why it should be him instead of either Halle Berry or Patrick Wilson, which never includes the fact that they have kids that they should probably try and take care of for once in their lives. But does include that Patrick Wilson has communed with the moon mind, and so humanity needs his moon knowledge. But the moon doesn't really seem to think that's important. The moon gave him the plan to blow himself up. So probably there's nothing special about Patrick Wilson, and anybody could go back to the moon and just talk to it and be like, hey, what's up? And the moon would share its knowledge. So I don't think we need Patrick Wilson for his moon knowledge.
Not at all. I feel like everybody now should go up to the moon. But I guess, somebody has to come home to be like, by the way, there's stuff up in the moon. But I mean, everybody would go after this. But it would just be, it would be funny too if they went up and it was like the moon starts talking to them and it's like, oh, this must have been his son or something. I don't know why it's this little boy, but I guess that has something to do with the first guy that did this, and it's kind of stuck and he becomes the most famous kid ever. But it doesn't there's a lot of take the secrets of the moon back and they fly. There's a whole kinds of, you know what else was weird about this movie? Remember when they go to the spaceship? Because the moon, it's a Dyson sphere, but it's also got all kinds of shit on it, you know?
Yeah.
There's cool spaceships. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh good, they're gonna fly one, that'll be fun. But then they don't. It's a bummer.
They shoot their guns at the swarm. Also, at one point while they're taking off, the part of how they take off is that Patrick Wilson tricks the swarm into coming in and then closes the bay doors so it slams on the swarm and the swarm can't move. The swarm, made up of billions of tiny objects that are moving together to mimic one being, can be stopped by having a bay door closed on its quote unquote neck. Did anyone who worked on this movie know how a swarm works?
I fucking love that so much.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's like, oh, it's too big. It can't. Oh, it was so funny.
And the humans are flying. We haven't really talked about this. They're flying. Rover is part of it, but then it is attached to what's really looks like one of the Nova ships from Guardians 1. Mm-hmm. And so it's like that's its own little system, those two ships together, and the landers where the EMP is, so they let it go, I think, and then they just go home. They go back to Earth. It works. The moon is insane. The moon is so close to the Earth at this point that they just they're driving the lunar shuttle, pop out of the moon hole, and just hit the parachutes, and they drift back down to the surface, 20 feet to the surface. Yeah.
And no problem. Oh, and now that they killed the swarm and because the one thing is that apparently the Dyson sphere can self-correct to its regular orbit. That's how it works. It's not being interrupted. The moon just starts to kind of go away from the Earth back to its regular orbit. Yeah. It's totally good. We kissed and now we're gonna depart. I guess the idea is that the moon, left to its own devices, would immediately crash into the Earth. Do this. And only the immense power of the Dyson sphere inside the megastructure is keeping it on a regular orbit, even though absolutely none of that is how orbits work. Yeah, it's not like it has little thrusters, right? Yeah, it's not a Death Star. Yeah, but also, I don't know how it moves. Orbits aren't maintained by thrusters or outward forces. The whole point is just that the gravity of the two things pulls on each other in such a way where they are simply, one is rotating around the other continuously, basically forever. Over enough time period, it might change by incremental amounts. Right. But yeah, the whole idea of needing force to maintain the orbit makes no sense at all. Yeah, it's really weird. Oh my god. And then Samuel Tarley gets to live with the moon. Well, so he's stuck in the moon with Moon Granny. Or Moon Mom, I guess is his mom. Have you ever seen somebody point out that ending to Sonic Adventure 1 where they're in the ruined landscape of the flooded city, definitely tens of thousands of people dead,
or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just Tails going, all's well that ends well. Mm-hmm. That's the main characters of this movie in the ruins of New York City.
Yeah. That is...
Well, they're in Denver, but the Chrysler Building is also there. Like, everything's fucked up.
Yeah, you know what used to be in the Chrysler Building? Probably a bunch of people. It's probably worth checking to see if they're still in that. But also, who gives a shit? They're all dead. Everyone's dead. There's nobody left on Earth.
I love how the kid's like, the Chrysler Building? Isn't that in New York? Like, just threw that out there.
Yeah, like, I think it is funny to be like, if you're like, where are you? I think we're by the Chrysler Building. It's like, you're very cute. I get it. But where are you? We need to get you. Like, clearly, that's not where you were. Otherwise, you'd say, I'm in New York. But he's just really, he's great. Yeah, I really want another 20 minutes of movie of people trying to figure out. I just want to see who survived, who didn't, what countries are in control, like, just what happened.
And, like, does Patrick Wilson, like, get to describe, like, okay, here's what the deal with the moon is, and here's our ancestors, and, like, how much of his knowledge does he share? And, like, at the very last thing I think is said with Samuel Tarly is, like, what now? And, like, the grandma goes, now the work begins. And it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
New AI? Like,
also, like, okay, a Dyson sphere. This is maybe my problem with the whole Dyson sphere thing. It exists specifically to power things, right?
Yes. That's the idea.
What is it powering?
It's like an incredible power source.
Yeah, like, where's the power in this moon going?
It's powering the incredible force needed to stop the moon from crashing into the Earth at all times.
Like, I feel like that would be the real thing. It would be like, holy shit, we got a big old battery up there. Yay! Everybody go put wires into the moon. Everybody throw your charger cables up to the moon real quick. Because, yeah, it's got to have tons and tons of power. But also, yeah, I mean, if they were all so close, like...
It powers the lights inside the megastructure.
It does power the light, yeah, and all the doors and shit.
The ships.
It powers the doors and the AI and the ships, and it powers whatever little robots have been keeping those gardens pristine for 100 million years or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Potatoes.
The benign AIs. If the moon is a Dyson sphere full of like a dwarf star sun. Or, well, just a dwarf star, but like one of them. Everybody that went on the moon would have radiation, like insane amounts of radiation.
Yeah.
Right? Like Neil Armstrong would just step foot on the moon and explode.
How is that not the cover up? Where all of a sudden we said astronauts, it's like, oh my god, they came back with like 30 tumors in their legs immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the cover up. I just like, there's something about this movie where, like, it almost doesn't need to be about the moon crashing into Earth at all. You just be about there's something we got to do on the moon, otherwise it might go out of orbit. But, like, all the Roland Emmerich destruction stuff feels so extra and, like, tacked on. I agree. But for a great movie.
No, because it's a bad movie. You were almost there.
No.
Yeah.
Man, love it.
I don't think this made a lot of money, so I don't think we're getting to Moonfall 2 or Moonrise or whatever.
Damn it.
I know.
Yeah, no, this was a huge bomb.
That's such a shame.
Such a bummer.
It was ahead of its time. One day people will be like, oh, this is so prevalent in our society. We just
when the moon crashes into the Earth, we'll be like, we should have listened to Moonfall.
Yeah, when there's like, next time I see looting and rioting on TV, I'm really going to be like, just like in Moonfall. That would be my brain where it goes.
Or when somebody like super on the nose comes out with a fistfuls of money and the other person that they're with goes, oh, that's worthless now.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I really I don't think Patrick Wilson was, doing an amazing job. I think he was fine. I think everybody in this movie is doing exactly what they usually do,
Yes.
Halle Berry, fine. Samuel Tarly, fine. Like, it could have been a much... Yeah, I was going to say, it could have been a much worse movie with, like, a Bruce Willis or something, speaking of actors that aren't good. Like,
that would have been so on the nose for this kind of movie.
I will say, John Bradley / Sam Tarly, you got a couple chuckles out of me.
Yeah, free bagels, that was cute. I don't know.
Free bagels funny. I liked when she gives him the super dramatic, not him, but Patrick Wilson's super dramatic pitch, like, we gotta get a thing up to the moon and detonate the EMP. Only one man can do it. You're the man for the job, Patrick Wilson. Will you save the planet? And then, like, we zoom in on his face, and then John Bradley leans in and is like, you should say yes.
Yeah.
That got me.
And you know what? You know what else is funny about this movie? Patrick Wilson goes from, like, I don't even give a shit about the world, fuck the world, to, like, I do want to make this fun for my friend, though. So, like, they went out of their way to make this, like, baby's first moon trip for John Bradley, which was nice.
I mean, all the emotional conflicts of this movie are, like, not actually conflicts. They know that they're supposed to have scenes about him having a bad relationship with his son, but they don't know why. So he doesn't actually have a bad relationship with his son.
Yeah.
The second they're actually, like, in front of each other and talking, the Sonny's like, I love you, Dad. Good luck saving the world.
Yeah.
And there's no actual conflict there whatsoever. And that's every emotional conflict in this movie. Every person who's supposed to be mad at or hate another person actually doesn't. And the first time they really interact, it's fine.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Great stuff.
Well, that's Moonfall. You guys want to get to our classic segment?
Oh my god.
I wish that we
Let's
would.
recommend some things. DJ, got anything to recommend to the fine people?
Yeah, so I got a good movie that I want to recommend to the folks. It's called Moonfall. It's a great new Roland Emmerich movie. And I couldn't recommend it enough. It's got some laughs. It's got some weird stuff. No, I don't remember, like, if I said this, but, like, you guys don't have to go see Moonfall. Like don't go out to the theaters. Don't risk it. Just, like, wait or whatever.
Yeah, watch it at your house when it comes on VOD, maybe, if it's free.
Have a friend who did see Moonfall describe it to you. That's the most fun you can have with Moonfall.
You know what?
Honestly, I was going to say, I did do that for my friend Bob, and he was like, actually, that sounds like pretty good. I'm like, don't see it. He's like, yeah, but that sounds pretty good, though. Because he's played a lot of Dyson Sphere Program. And I'm like, they made Dyson Sphere Program the movie.
This movie does... I speaking of things that I'm shocked that I am, like, damnation with faint praise. Oh, my God, Mortimer just keeps headbutting the microphone.
Oh, Mortimer.
This movie does everything Transformers 3 and 5 do worse. Like, at least with those movies, you have Transformers or something. But yeah, at the end of 5, it's like, oh, the Earth is a Transformer. And then in the middle of 3, it's like the moon is full of robots. And, like, at least those are memorable because it's something. And they still stink. But, like, this movie is not weird enough to be fun in the same way that they are. So it did remind me of them a lot. But no, what is your real recommendation?
Okay, so my real recommendation is a board game called Pictures. It's a very fun, very interesting board game. Basically, the premise of the board game is there is like several just different like little pictures on these little kind of like 3x5 cards, and you set up in like a 4x4 grid square. And what you have is you have different mediums to try and imitate one of the pictures. So you draw like a little token that represents the picture, and then you either have, let's see if I can remember them all. You have like little Tinker Toy building blocks. You have rocks. You could have like cards with different symbols on them. You could have 2 different sizes of string, and the other is these little color squares. And what you have to do is you basically have to make your picture with your medium, and other people have to guess what picture you made, and then you get points for correctly guessing other mediums, and then you get points for people correctly guessing yours. So there's high incentive to like get it right, and it's a very, very fun game. I really enjoyed it. A friend of mine brought it over the weekend, and I'm definitely going to add to my collection when I get the chance. But yeah, I really just love this game and had a lot of fun with it. It's fun because you get to play with every medium once. Like that's the way they kind of set it up, where you get it's passed around each time, so everyone gets to use one of the different mediums. I found the cards to be the hardest because it's more abstract, and really enjoyed the little colored squares where you're just kind of like making like colors with it. So yeah, like really, really fun game. I think you get it on Amazon. There's I think there's another there's an expansion coming out where they're adding more pictures and like clothespins as a medium. So that sounds really good. But yeah, it's called Pictures, and it's just a lot of fun. So that's my recommendation.
So what would I need at my house to just play this game right now? like
I guess you would
string.
need those you need those 5 different mediums. The hardest one is like the rocks and sticks are like pretty specific, and like the cards like would be really tough to replicate because the cards have like different symbols on them. So like one's like the poop emoji. There's like a shark. There's like a snowflake. There's an arrow. There's a smiley face. There's a heart. There's like a shirt. So yeah, that would be like hard to replicate, but it's like the way the game's set up's like pretty fun. And it's like a tactile game, so like if you're like into those kind of tactile games, it's really good. So yeah, I just hadn't played a game similar to it, so it made it like a lot of fun. So yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It's something you definitely need like a group for. Like I don't know how well it would scale to like 3 people. I think you need like a 4 to 5. Because just like seeing like what everyone does with like the different mediums is a lot of fun. So that's why one limitation of the game is probably the scalability.
Huh.
So, but yeah, definitely enjoyed playing it with my friends. So yeah.
How you liking Pokemon?
Still enjoying it. It's so grindy, and I found more enjoyment like playing it in like spurts. It's like, oh, I got like 30 minutes here, an hour here. Let me play like a little bit of it. So
well, that's what the Switch is good for.
Yeah, still enjoying it. It's great for that. So, but still definitely enjoying it. Yeah.
Who's your best Pokemon?
I have a really good. Oh, I have an alpha Pachirisu. Electric Squirrel. Thank you. Yes.
Have you met God yet?
That's probably my best one. Not besides the first intro with God you have to open the game. So I haven't met him since.
Okay. Huh.
So yeah, but yeah, my Pachirisu kicks fucking ass. So yeah.
I should ask.
That's my guy.
I'm gonna ask Diggins that too, no matter what he says.
Yeah.
Watch the movie.
Yeah.
Do you meet God yet? Diggins, what about you? You have anything to recommend?
Yeah, I got 2. One quick. First, the quick one. I watched a YouTube video that I really liked. It was by this creator called Nando V Movies. No, not really. No, it's by a creator called Super Eye Patch Wolf. If either of you have heard of him.
Oh yeah.
He did a video, I think like a month or 2 ago at this point, called "What the Internet Did to Garfield."
Oh yeah.
I've
heard of this video. I have not watched it.
It's kind of an exploration of how Garfield became this internet meme, like with Garfield minus Garfield, and then also there's a real trend of drawing Garfield as like an eldritch abomination lately that it talks a lot about, and it goes deep on why this is a thing we do to Garfield and like what is appealing or popular about Garfield as a character in the first place. And it goes to some wild places, but it's a really good video. It's a very good entry in the genre of just analyzing one specific like culture thing way too much and just getting surprising insight out of that unexpected source. It's like an hour long, I think a little bit more. But it's a really good example of one of those. If you like that kind of video, then you should definitely watch it. My main recommendation for this week, though, is I completely played, 100% completed in the past week, a little video game called Psychonauts 2.
Oh, that's my boy. Good job.
Yeah, it's a great game. If you ever play the original Psychonauts is super fun, really great game from 16 years ago. This feels like how I remember Psychonauts, which is to say it doesn't play exactly the same, but it's very similar with enough like quality of life improvements and stuff where it feels as good playing a game now as playing Psychonauts felt back in its day, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
It's so it's a super fun like action platformer type game. With, overworld and all discrete levels where you go in and collect a bunch of stuff. Psychonauts is super good at... the collection aspect is really only a thing you need to engage with if you want to. Like, you get power-ups and stuff that are super helpful, but you could totally go through the whole game not caring about the collection at all and be fine. I am sick in the head and have a pathological need to 100% collectible games like this, so I did. But you don't have to do that if that sort of thing bothers you. But it's a super fun platformer. If you're not familiar with the premise, you are playing as a kid who has joined the Psychonauts, which is an organization that are like kind of spies, like Spy Kids are spies, where they're just superheroes, basically.
Now you're speaking my language.
And their main power is they're all psychics and are able to enter other people's minds and help them deal with like their mental issues, or, you know, find information from them, or, you know, whatever benefit you might get from being inside someone else's mind.
They can incept you?
They could, yes. That does happen in this game. You do incept someone.
Yes.
Ooh.
Nice.
But it also, it uses that to explore a lot of mental illness. Like, there are nobody ever uses these words, but there are characters that are clearly supposed to be like a person with severe social anxiety disorder, a person with alcoholism, a person with split personality disorder, that you're like going in and helping them, which is a very like nuanced and empathetic portrayal of those issues, but also pretty lighthearted and funny, because it's a very funny game. Like a major plot point is how you can, someone can lose their brain if they sneeze hard enough, and you can shove it into someone else's body with a funnel so that someone can pretend to be someone else. And it's very goofy like that. But like I said, it handles, despite that, it handles all of these like more serious issues with surprising, delicacy, so that it ends up being a really good story that feels very impactful while still being a funny cartoon for kids. So it's just really well done. It may have taken 16 years to get this sequel, because the first Psychonauts ends on a huge cliffhanger, and people have been waiting for a sequel for a long time. But now that we have it, it's really great, and so that's awesome.
Does this one also end on a huge cliffhanger that will never be resolved?
There's like some loose threads, but it's mostly resolved.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are my recs for this week. What about you, Nando?
I am trying to remember if I've wrecked these things before. What did I wreck last week? Did I wreck a show? Probably not. So I'm going to wreck...
Was it Murderville last week, or was it the...
I don't think... Did I wreck After Party last week?
You talked about After Party. You did not wreck it.
Okay, great. So that's my wreck then. It's the best. And I guess this kind of came into my head as of like this 2022 prediction thingy. I don't know how long the Year of Mysteries will last, or if it will have a dip, but two really fun mystery like parodies out there, or like riffs on mystery. First one is the After Party, which is the I believe it's Lord or Miller, one of Miller, and it is so like the Lego Movie dudes. So one of them made a like murder mystery set at the after party of a high school reunion, where like there's a genuine murder mystery. So like there is a mystery that is fun, but then on top of that, there's also each episode is a vignette that is like it's one character recounting what they were saw. So like a Rashomon kind of thing, but they are all in a different style of film that is specific to what that character, how they see themselves. I don't want to spoil them because they're really funny so far. But the first one is a rom-com, and like you see that one coming from a mile away. But like second, third episode, fourth episode, those are all very different. So I would implore most of it. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's got it's Sam Richardson, Ben Schwartz, Alana Glazer, Tiffany Haddish, a lot of very funny people all doing this show. So I think it's terrific. Have either of you guys watched it?
No, but I will. I've just heard very many good things.
It sounds really good.
It's very funny. It really is. And I think I think most people as of right now, and I think this is more close to true for me, episode 3 is their favorite one. Episode 1 is good. Episode 2 I loved, but it's a very specific kind of parody that I appreciate, and I can see why other people wouldn't. But then episode 3 is the one where it's like, holy shit, they're doing something crazy. So I would definitely stick around to that, but I think you two will both like episode 2 as well. just because of the genre. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Also, though, another show on Netflix this week. So like that one's Apple TV Plus. This one's Netflix. It's called Murderville, and it is Will Arnett and etc. Like a rotating cast. Like there's a whole cast of characters that we meet, but none of them are super famous. And Will Arnett is a hardened like murder detective named Terry Seattle, who is like, you know, everything you kind of expect. He's living out of his office, looks a big mess. And every week, every episode, so there's 6 episodes, and I guess not every week because they're all released. But he takes one famous person through the crime and like through the crime show, but they don't know what's going on, and he forces them to do improv stuff, and it's great. This is exactly what I like from improv. Is like this kind of thing where it's like it's got rails. I'm not watching an improv show. I'm watching like the funness of improv, but there's still like a structure that nice. Keeps it moving. Second episode is probably the best one. It's one with Marshawn Lynch. So funny. So weird. But I'd say the first episode is Conan O'Brien, and his is great. Like, so if you want to be like, well, should I watch this? That's a good starter so that you could see how crazy the Marshawn Lynch one is, because it's truly wild. But yeah, so 2 really good murder mystery type shows. So Diggins, you're looking okay this year.
Yeah, maybe the Prediction King's crown will remain upon his head. Maybe.
Knives Out 2 put out its picture, or like a little bit of, you know, of a like teaser image of them all getting on a boat the other day too. So that's coming.
And
speaking of boats,
Nile
we have
comes out.
Yeah,
this
we have
week.
the boat with all the stars
Nile.
on it that no one wants. No one can remember which specific ones, but there's some stars. And that's coming out pretty soon, actually. I feel
This
like I saw
weekend, I
something
think.
about
This month.
reviews. Is it
This weekend?
really?
Oh,
I think it's
Holy
this weekend.
shit, this must not be good. No, maybe it's good. But that's wild. You're right. You could see it today. What?
Wow.
What?
Amazing.
Or today being Wednesday, but still.
Well, speaking of things that are coming out this weekend, what are we doing next week, fellas?
Uncharted, baby.
Oh, no. Wait, are we?
Right?
Is Uncharted coming out?
It's coming out this weekend.
Is it?
I don't
Yeah, boy.
think so.
Isn't it? Am I crazy?
I don't think they'd release it the same weekend as whatever the fuck this Death on the Nile.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
mean,
feeling
Death
it's
on the
next
Nile
weekend.
is going to be the hit of the February. They're not going to want to
Yeah.
compete with that. Then
Oh,
again,
sorry. Yeah, Uncharted's the following weekend.
then again, do they really want to compete with Marry Me?
Oh my god.
You guys want to do Marry Me? Valentine's Day special?
Well, that's also not. Or
That comes out this week.
that does come out
for
this
sure.
week. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know.
Could do Death on the Nile. Could do Marry Me. Could do
When does Kingsman come out?
On Hulu.
regularly.
Yeah, it's going to be on Hulu pretty soon. I don't know if it's yet. But I want to say it's sometime in February. I can't remember
That's
when.
what Collider said.
February
Yeah, I'm not-
February
18th.
9th. Can you? or
Okay,
sorry,
so still
18th,
not
yeah.
that. I mean, we could do, I guess we could do another Batman. We could do Death on the Nile if we wanted, but, you know, it's probably fine. Probably just be jokes about how he probably ate them or whatever. I don't know.
Wow.
That's what he did in real life, right? He eats people. Sometimes I'm caught up. Sometimes I kind of have a very vague idea of what the
Did
celebrity
Armie
thing
Hammer
is.
ever actually eat someone?
He had some
Out of
kind
everyone I've ever heard of, he's the one I
cannibalism
suspect the most.
fetish thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
It was
If it's like, hey,
definitely a
DJ,
sex
have you-
thing.
Yeah. If you if I asked you, hey DJ, do you think Tom Cruise has eaten? Well, he's a bad example. Do
Yeah,
you
I was
think
gonna
Tom
say.
Hanks has eaten people? You'd be like, no. Why would I think that? With Armie Hammer, you're like, probably not exactly that, but he's gotten closer. He wants to. I feel like it's on his list. I think if you were at a party with him, and where everybody was like, let's start eating people, he would look around the room really cautiously and go, really? And then be like,
Right
yeah,
now?
we're doing it. And he'd be like, but we're not, right? Or are we? And then, yeah. Like, I think you could get that to go.
I see.
Or he would
Anyway,
be like,
yeah.
hey guys, let's eat people. Haha, what a funny joke, am I right? Could you imagine if we just started eating people? I mean, like, think about it though. Like, really think about it. What if we started eating people?
Yeah, it would be like some sort of, it would be a party at his house. And he'd be like, okay, so we're going to play this fun little game. Everybody writes a suggestion. No one knows whose it was. And we're going to do that thing. And he'd pull it out and it would be, ooh, eat people. Eat one of us. That would be that's so weird that one of you guys suggested it. Okay, I guess.
Who put that in?
Yeah. No one says no. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Allegedly. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, I don't know what other movies are coming out.
Well, it sounds like we could do either Death on the Nile or Marry Me if we want to do a new movie for next week. And then there's also plenty of other movies to do. We could do Batman Forever.
Yep. That would be the next Batman movie.
We could do a Twilight.
Batman Forever, by the way, what an incredible wasted opportunity that's the third movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before they knew the numbers are actually the words. You know?
Oh, what a funny joke. Oh, Forever. It didn't last.
I wonder why they thought that. Maybe they thought 66 was 1, and they were like, that's Batman 1, and then this is Batman Forever. Because it's not even, Forever isn't part of it, you know? Like, it's not, I don't think he quits in the movie, and then it's like, no, I'm going to be Batman Forever. So maybe they did think it was the fourth one. Maybe. But
you put up a poll.
Yeah, we probably should.
Put up a poll and then not listen to it, as usual.
Yeah.
I love that.
That sounds good. Anything to plug, fellas?
Roses and Rejection, same stuff. All good here.
Ooh, you know what we could do? Sorry, I just thought of this. Book of Boba Fett will be over by then. If Diggins wants to watch it all. Just kidding.
That's a tough ask.
Don't do it.
Tough ask.
Yeah.
Watch episodes 5, 6, 7.
Watch season 3
most
of The
episode
Mandalorian.
5. Yeah.
Teehee.
Yeah. So, Diggins, you have anything to plug?
Just my usuals as well. My newsletter, littleperspective.substack.com, and I stream at twitch.tv/thisisanodname.
What's the next thing you're streaming?
Well, we still got probably at least one more Resident Evil Village in us, but we're getting really close to the end, and then I was thinking I might pick up Inscription, which is an indie release from last year that apparently has big twists in it that I don't know what they are.
I thought you were going to say,
nice.
I thought you were going to say, as big women, we're going to continue the big old women games.
Sadly, Lady Dimitrescu has been dead for a long time in my Resident Evil Village playthrough. She's the first boss. I miss her
You don't know
every
the
day.
twists of this new game. Maybe she's in it.
Maybe she
that's
might
the
be.
twist.
I don't know. You're
Big old
right. I don't know what they
vampire
are.
lady. Yeah. Cool. I got a video coming out, but I don't think it'll be up for the next pod. So don't look for that. Oh, I will say I was on a show recently, Overly Sarcastic podcast by like Overly Sarcastic Productions. So
were you?
It was great. Oh, you monster. I was very funny, but also we talked about which Muppet would be the best Muppet in Super Smash Brothers, and that was fun. So if you ever want to hear me answer that question, you gotta listen to that.
Nice.
Yeah, so cool. All right, until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.